say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony Love, and we're about to get started today. Let me go ahead and remove the flag here. So there we go. All right. Get my headphones right, nice and tight. All right. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. So we're going to be doing another live stream here. I'm just doing them a little earlier, staying consistent. The title is that why the parties never switch, meaning what we're talking about here. We're talking about the myth or reality, the Southern strategy explained. So that's what we're going to be talking about. This is something that the Democrats have came up with to basically differentiate themselves. They wanted to move away from the history and the torment that they have done to my people, right? So therefore, this is one of the things. So we're going to go ahead and bust this up, and I'm going to be doing a reaction at the same time. But before I do, we're going to go into it and things. So therefore, let me see here. Let me open up the other browser here and things. But you guys already know this is right pen. This is the one that I use, paste it, expose it, and post it. So therefore, if there are any type of articles or anything that's kind of leaning a certain way, what right pen would do is that it would actually sniff it out, as you can see right here. Because what I did is I put in about the Southern myth strategy. Now I got into it a little bit yesterday of a debate with a person that was on here. He was saying that the Southern myth strategy actually exists, and me on the other hand, it did not. But what we're going to do is that we're going to read a little bit here of what the makeup analysis is. So we're going to go ahead and get into this right now, and let me see here. Let me see where we are. We have some people showing up. Look like nobody's showing up yet. Okay, no problem at all. So what we're going to do, may wait a little bit, but wait for some people. I know people are at work and things, but that's okay, though. So I'm going to also have the video queued up and things like that. So there is a gentleman, let me see here, it goes by the Conservative Take and things. So I just ran across his channel and things like that. So this is his channel right here. So I suggest that you guys take a look at what he's talking about. but it's called the conservative take and things. So I love it.
The most racist.
All right. So therefore, I'm going to leave that queued up right there for right now and then wait for some people to come into the room. If not, then we'll just go ahead and just go and start. But the Southern strategy, we're going to get into this, the myth of it all, So therefore, let me see, I got that looking good and things. So, all right, not a problem at all. I figured I was going to do this a little early and things, but it look like we may have to just go on instead of waiting for the people. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and go on and things, So, yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. All right. Usually some people come up in the room, though, so. But that's okay. I'm live, though, because, All right, so let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to be talking about why the parties never switched, right? And that's the big myth. So we're going to go ahead and let it read.
Why it's often called a myth or overstated. Critics argue this is a simplified, partisan narrative that exaggerates cynical racism as the primary driver while ignoring data, timelines, and broader trends. Key counterpoints include, the shift was gradual and predated heavy GOP involvement. White Southern realignment toward Republicans began earlier, tied to economic modernization rather than a sudden post-1964 flip. Scholars Richard Johnston and Byron Shafer, The End of Southern Exceptionalism, analyzed election returns and surveys showing the South's move to the GOP correlated strongly with rising income, suburbanization, and class-based conservatism in the post-World War II economic boom. Not a top-down racial appeal. Lower-income Southerners remained more Democratic longer. Higher-income ones shifted Republican faster. Nixon's record doesn't fit the racist pander narrative. In 1968, Nixon lost several Deep South states that Goldwater had won in 1964, to George Wallace, the explicit segregationist running as an independent. Nixon enforced desegregation, supported some civil rights measures, and did not run on overt opposition to the 1964-1965 acts. Claims of dog whistles often rely on hindsight readings, post hoc interpretations rather than explicit evidence from Nixon's campaigns. His strategist Kevin Phillips emphasized broader conservative realignment. Voting data and timelines undermine a clean party switch via racism. Southern Democrats, Dixiecrats, opposed civil rights but retained power in Congress and state offices for decades after 1964. Many segregationists stayed Democrats. Black voters began shifting to Democrats under FDR's New Deal, 1930s, not just in the 1960s. Republicans had been the party of Lincoln and civil rights for Black Americans earlier. The GOP gained in the South through cultural conservatism, anti-communism, economic growth, opposition to federal overreach, and religion, issues that appealed beyond race. The full congressional and local flip took until the 1990s, e.g. Gingrich era. Both parties had complex racial histories. Democrats dominated the Jim Crow South for generations. Republicans like Eisenhower made gains in the South pre-1964. The National Democratic Party's civil rights push, Truman onward, accelerating under LBJ alienated conservative Southern whites, but LBJ himself reportedly saw it as a long-term loss for Democrats in the region. Many analyses note Republicans gained by being the more consistently conservative party on economics and culture as the South modernized and became less exceptional. Over-reliance on cherry-picked selective quotes. Atwater's interview and similar statements are often cherry-picked. Broader evidence shows Republican success tied more to the Wallace voters' economic populist grievances migrating to conservatism than explicit race baiting. The myth framing, e.g., by Dinesh D'Souza or Prajaru, argues the narrative shields Democrats from their own history, preserves a democratic self-image by projecting racism onto modern conservatives while downplaying continuity in Southern conservatism.
Okay, guys, so that is basically it there in a nutshell there about why parties never switched. Now, we can go into it a little bit more here as well. In regards to this article that was presented, what we're going to do, and this is why I love Right Pen, because it lets you know what they left out. So we're going to go ahead on and mention what they left out right here. So let's go ahead and do it. So what they have left out,
The article presents only the skeptical side of the Southern strategy debate without steelmaning the historians who do credit racial appeals as a real factor. The role of explicit race coded policy language in Republican campaigns during the 1970s and 1980s is mentioned only to be dismissed. The article frames Atwater's own words as merely cherry-picked without noting he made the admission on record. Unprompted polling data showing white Southern Democrats' racial attitudes as a predictor of party switching receives no mention.
Okay, so there it is right there, you know. So what you just heard is things that was left out of the article. Like I said before, it was when I had a little bit of a debate yesterday on the tail end of a live stream yesterday. He basically said, that the myth did actually happen. He talking about the Southern strategy and things, and many of them talk about there's a party switch that never happened. And things. We're going to go into the video in a few minutes, but let's go ahead and go a little bit further here. This is the part where you can actually post it, but we're going to go ahead and have it read it. That way I can save my voice, you know.
The Southern strategy myth piece makes solid points but buries the lead. Democrats ran the Jim Crow South for generations. That context never trends.
Okay, let's go a little bit further here. This is another one here, so we're going to go ahead and have him read this.
This article does a decent job laying out the counter-arguments to the Southern strategy narrative, but it leans heavily on the skeptic side without fairly representing the historians on the other end. The strongest point it makes is one the media almost never touches. The Democratic Party dominated the Jim Crow South for generations before any so-called party switch. The economic and class-based explanation for Southern realignment is well supported by real scholarly data and deserves far more attention than it gets in mainstream coverage. Worth a read for the counterpoints alone.
Okay, so there it is, though. And it says the so-called party switch, meaning that it was just, it was a myth. They have nothing on the Democrat side that says that this particular switch happened, which makes this a myth. You know what I'm saying? They've been arguing this for a long time, but it was a tool that the Democrats use, right, to position themselves and push away from Jim Crow segregation. We also talk about the Ku Klux Klan, right, slavery. So it was a ploy to push themselves away. Same thing with this SPLC stuff, right, where they're trying to push themselves away and saying, oh, it's the SPLC, which is all intertwined. All of this is intertwined when it comes down to the Dixiecrat Democrat Party and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and go a little bit further in and things like that. But so let me see here. So this is what I recommend here. I did something too for the members as well and things, which I want to give a shout out to the members as well too. So for the members and things, well, they know who they are, though, Stewart and a few others. We also have Jason, Beatrice, a few that I can remember off the top of my head. That person named as well, too, for her. And there's a few others in there in my membership page and stuff. So I did a little bit of a video, which was the Civil War is what I'm trying to say. That came out in 2024. And I saw that at the movies with some friends and stuff. So the creators of that movie left it up to the viewer's imagination. What do you think it is, which is kind of clever. Therefore, they don't get into any type of biases. You know what I'm saying? So he did that pretty good. But I kind of got some of the gist of it, what's going on and how it can relate to what can happen here, what can happen now, you know what I'm saying? Because we are in a particular climate for something like that to happen, you know what I'm saying? But for right now, so I'm saving that stuff for the membership page and things. So when you become a member, we start going more into these movies and other things as well, too. We have a little bit more being able to say some things without interruption, without having trolls and all the rest of that stuff. Not that I mind the trolls, but it's just, it is what it is, But, so now that we talked about that, and I welcome the one person in the chat here. All right, there it is. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So yeah, so therefore, it is what it is. Regards to that, it was a lot of trying to clean the room up though too, for things, and for things that's said and not said, as well as that. You can't 100% lock it down, but I tried, we try to do our best, and things like that. We just want to make sure that, like off-color remarks, racial slurs, things of that nature is not allowed. It's not to be said or whatever. And plus, it goes against the YouTube terms of service, though, too. So we want to make sure that we adhere to that, But, dumb, stupid, and all that stuff, I can handle that, But, for those that do the other thing and stuff like that, the mods that come in here, they know what to do. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so talking about that, and let me see here, what else here? Right, let's see here. Right, we have that there. Oh yeah, and we're gonna go into the let's actually, you know what, let's do this right now. We're gonna go into this brother here. It's called the Conservative Take. I ran across him, but he has a very, very interesting thing going on here in things about why the party never switched. So we're going to go ahead and get into that video right here as well. So let's go ahead and do that here.
Southerners stayed Democrats. So as the South became less agrarian or rural, whites started to identify with the Republican appeal for upward mobility, free market, prosperity, and equal opportunity. The second question we're going to tackle is, when did blacks who used to vote Republican start to vote Democrat? So to argue that the party switched, you would have to argue that blacks changed parties sometime after the 60s. But the fact of the matter is that blacks turned from the Republican Party in the 1930s. So you may want to offer up this, that people vote their own self-interests. So it's reasonable to think that Democrats today are voting for what they feel is their best interests. For the third point here, what are the core values of each party and when did they actually switch? Okay, so if your friend or your family member has gotten this far for those first 2 points, that's a good sign. But the fact of the matter is, in their mind, they're probably thinking, you know what, well, we're the party of civil rights, we have evolved, we've gotten past those archaic ideas. So the plan here is to give a contrast between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party then and now. We're going to take past evidence and we're going to marry that with contemporary evidence, and we're going to build a narrative that makes sense to them, because what they see today is going to be very similar in concept and philosophy to what was going on before. And that's how we're going to do this. So let's go through a few points. Lyndon Johnson, who's a Democrat, passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
Okay, so he got some music going on here. So, let me see here. Yeah, 1964. Kind of read some of this stuff here, but it got a little music going on. Let me take a look at it here.
64.
Yeah, it's still music going on. So, I won't be able to play this and things, but I was going to try to get into it a little bit. But then there was the switch that the Democrats like to use with the Southern strategy and so forth like that, saying that Democrats have switched from being Democrat over to the Republicans when it come down to the racism that's coming from the left, how they went over to the Republican side, though, which that never happened. You know what I'm saying? That was a myth. But there was a switch, as I stated earlier, though, too, on another video of mine, where blacks that used to vote Republican until, I mentioned Lyndon B. Johnson, but there was another one, too. It was FDR, too, back in the 1900s, 1930s, I mean. Yeah, so we're blacks that have voted for FDR, for Franklin Delano Roosevelt and things like that. So that was the first switch, you know what I'm saying? You still had blacks that still was Republicans at regards to that as well. Yeah, I didn't know he had music in here, but let's go ahead and do this here. Let me see.
who also became a
That's some
majority leader.
music there. Okay. All right.
Barry Goldwater.
Yeah, I mentioned about him.
Democrats love to bring him up because he was against the 1964 Civil Rights Act as well. But what they don't tell you is that he was strongly in favor of the 1957 and 1960 versions of the Civil Rights Act, which just so happened the Democrats also were totally opposed to. So who was Barry Goldwater? He was a founding member of his chapter in Arizona of the NAACP. He pushed to desegregate the Arizona
Sorry about that. Got a phone call.
Guard. And so when we get back to the 1964 Act, why did he disagree with it? Because he had fundamental constitutional problems against it. It wasn't because it was racist, it was because the issues he had were just unconstitutional. Barry Goldwater was not a racist. Still don't believe me? Well, a gentleman by the name of Martin Luther King Sr. was a very strong Barry Goldwater supporter. Let's talk about the big switch. This is what they talk about where at some point in time, the Democrats became Republicans and the Republicans became Democrats. Well, what is that all about? After 1964, there was only one senator that left the Democrat Party to become a Republican. You probably know him. His name is Strom Thurmond. So who was Strom Thurmond? And was he by himself? Was it just that one senator or was there others? In Dinesh D'Souza's movie, Hillary's America, he goes through this in great detail. From the research that Dinesh uncovered, he found that if you go from the year 1860 to the year 2000, if you take all of the leaders from the Ku Klux Klan, all of the leaders from the other racist organizations of the time, all of the Democrat senators and congressmen at the state house and at the congressional level, and if you take every person that voted against the 1964 Civil Rights Act, he found that less than 1% left the Democrat Party and became Republican. Over 1,600 people who were Democrats, who were racist, only 8 left to become Republican. The rest all stayed Democrats to the day they died. So now I'm going to go through a quick lightning round of information that's well documented that if they aren't on board yet will make it very difficult by the time I'm finished. The majority of Black Americans were voting Democrat by the 1940s, not the 50s, and surely not the 60s. In fact, Truman won the black vote by 80% in 1948. So in 1932, an important man by the name of Robert Vann, who was the publisher of the Pittsburgh Courier, led the charge for realignment. He wrote articles encouraging blacks to leave the Republican Party and start to vote for Democrats. He urged his readers, my friends, it's time to turn Lincoln's picture to the wall. The last Republican presidential candidate to win the black vote was Herbert Hoover. In fact, in the 1930s, the black vote for the Democrat Party went from 15% to a whopping 70% in 4 years. So it was the New Deal, the benefits of the New Deal under FDR that drove blacks into the Democrat Party. As Dinesh D'Souza mentions, it was a Faustian deal, meaning that they traded benefits, economic benefits, for being in bed with the racists. They left the party of abolition. They left the party of Lincoln. They left the party of Frederick Douglass to go sit in bed with the party of the Dixiecrats and the Ku Klux Klan. You may have heard of the decision Brown versus the Board of Education, where schools were desegregated. Well, the last obstructionist to that was a gentleman by the name of Fred Vinson. He just happened to be the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and he was also the last Chief Justice appointed by a Democrat. President Eisenhower backed the Civil Rights Bill.
Sorry about
In
that.
fact, his Congress was the author of it. He federalized the National Guard to go to Little Rock Central High School to protect the citizens there. The Deep South did not abandon the Democrat Party after 1964. In fact, the Republicans didn't gain a majority of Southern congressional seats until the election of 1994, 30 years later. Look, if the new civil rights Southern voters were actually racist, one could presume that these voters came from Southern rural areas. But that's not the case. In a book by Gerald Alexander called The Myth of the Racist Republicans, he documents this. He finds that Republicans didn't come from rural areas, they were coming from the suburbs and from the cities. Like we said before, they were looking for upward mobility and they were looking for prosperity and equal opportunity. They didn't come from Mississippi, Georgia, or Alabama. It started in states like Virginia, to North Carolina, to Tennessee, to Florida. Eisenhower did better in the peripheral states. In this book, Alexander says, in sum, the GOP's Southern electorate was not rural, nativist, less educated, or afraid of change, or concentrated in the most stagnant parts of the Deep South. It was disproportionately suburban, middle class, educated, younger, non-native Southern, and concentrated in the growth points that were, so to speak, the least Southern parts of the South. So what Alexander is saying is, like we said before, as the South became less racist, it became more Republican. So what we're finding is that by the 1960s, all the progress that had been made up to that point were either stalled or reversed entirely. In other words, the first half of the 20th century, we saw progress. In the second half of the 20th century, we saw decline.
All right, got some music there, but I had to retract something about Barry Goldwater that I said because I thought that he was basically a racist, and most of us thought, but this brother here cleared it up. I watched it last night. I said, you know what, I'm going to share this today, and it just cleared things up or whatever, you know. So even myself and many others, we'll get some things wrong, but hey, I mean, it's just part of being human, you know what I'm saying? So I want to retract that statement about Barry Goldwater being racist and so forth. But he got some music in here. You guys got the gist of it, though, and things. And that's the main thing, you know, you got the gist of it as well. So, yeah, so this is basically what it is here, talking about why the parties never switched, you know, kind of break up a lot of the myths and things like that. So now you guys have it. We have the history of the blacks that was originally Republican. Some of them switched over to Democrat back in FDR's day, and then 1964 and so forth. So we have like a history of where the blacks migrated from and things like that. It was already understood when Abraham Lincoln, which was a lawyer out of Illinois, before he became president and things like that. And this is the early I think he was assassinated in 1863, right? But he never really saw the Reconstruction period, because the Reconstruction period came about in 1865 to 1877, right? And with the help of the Republicans that made that possible. There were blacks and whites working together, though, you know. The Republican Party is originally the party of black ancestry and things like that. So we're going to talk about some other things, too, where we talk about Frederick Douglass. We're going to talk about Booker T. Washington. And we're just going to have it to read and things like that of what's been going on here. So let's go. We'll start with Frederick Douglass, and then we'll start with Booker T. Washington, you know, two prolific heroes in American history and things. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and let that start speaking.
Frederick Douglass. Douglass, the prominent abolitionist, orator, and statesman, was a Republican. He supported the party starting in the 1850s because it was the anti-slavery party, founded in 1854, with Abraham Lincoln as its first successful presidential candidate in 1816. He publicly declared himself a Republican, voted Republican, and campaigned for the party. In an 1870 address, he stated, "I am a Republican." He advised black voters to support the Republican Party as the one more likely to protect their rights. Frederick Douglass Papers Project. He received 1 vote for U.S. President at the 1888 Republican National Convention, the first African American to receive such a vote at a major party convention. Facebook. Douglass remained loyal to the Republicans even as he critiqued them at times, viewing them as better than the Democrats, the party most associated with Southern slavery, secession, and later Jim Crow resistance. Jim Ardisby. Substack. Booker T. Washington, the educator, author, and founder of the Tuskegee Institute, was also a Republican. His Wikipedia entry and historical records list him as such. Wikipedia. He worked closely with Republican presidents like Theodore Roosevelt, e.g., advising on racial issues and Southern patronage, and dispensed Republican political patronage heritage while Washington emphasized education, self-help, and accommodation over direct political agitation in public. His Atlanta Compromise approach. He operated within Republican networks and supported the party's influence. PBS context note. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, the Republican Party, often called the Party of Lincoln, was the one most associated with abolition, civil rights amendments, 13th, 14th, 15th, and opposition to Southern Democratic policies on race. Party alignments have shifted significantly since then on many issues. Both men aligned with the Republicans of their era based on the politics of emancipation, Reconstruction, and black advancement. 30 sources compare to W.E.B. Du Bois. Thought for 4S. W.E.B. Du Bois was not a consistent Republican like Frederick Douglass or Booker T. Washington. He was more politically independent, pragmatic, and increasingly radical leftist over his long life. 1868 to 1963. Wikipedia. Political party affiliations. Douglass and Washington, loyal to the Republican Party, the Party of Lincoln, throughout their careers. Douglass actively campaigned for it and saw it as the vehicle for black rights post-emancipation. Washington worked within Republican networks, advised GOP presidents, e.g., Theodore Roosevelt, and operated through patronage systems tied to the party. Ad Museum. Du Bois, not tied to one major party. He urged black voters to break from Republican loyalty when the party failed to deliver, e.g., after 1906 violence under Roosevelt. Taft. He endorsed Democrats like William Jennings Bryan, 1908, and Woodrow Wilson, 1912, later regretted, switched to Republican Charles Evans Hughes, 1916, and supported others based on promises on lynching, rights, etc. He often backed third parties or the lesser evil and criticized both major parties for failing black Americans. Wikipedia. Later in life, Du Bois moved further left. He considered himself a socialist, joined Socialist Party briefly in 1911, supported Progressive Party candidates, e.g., Henry Wallace in 1948, and joined the Communist Party USA in 1961 at age 93. Viewing socialism communism as the path to black liberation and global peace. PA plus world, ideology and strategy. Key contrast with Washington. The most famous comparison is between Booker T. Washington and Du Bois, the Tuskegee Machine versus the talented 10th. Washington favored accommodation, vocational education, economic self-help, gradual progress, and temporary de-emphasis on political agitation. Civil rights to build goodwill with white Southerners. Atlanta Compromise, 1895. Du Bois strongly opposed this in The Souls of Black Folk, 1903. He advocated immediate full civil rights, higher, classical, education for the talented 10th, political agitation, and social equality. He co-founded the NAACP, 1909, to push legal and activist challenges to segregation and disenfranchisement. American IOP. Douglass aligned more with Du Bois's emphasis on assertive demands for rights and integration, manly self-respect, political power, than Washington's accommodation, though Douglass died in 1895 before their major clash, seeking virtue and wisdom. Overall comparison. Aspect. Frederick Douglass. Booker T. Washington. W.E.B. Du Bois. Party loyalty. Strong Republican, pragmatic ties, independent, Shifted between parties. Later socialist communist. Core strategy political activism. Rights demands vocational education. Economic focus. Accommodation higher education. Immediate civil political rights. Agitation view of politics Republican vehicle for freedom work within system. Avoid confrontation critique both parties. Radical internationalist later era context abolition Reconstruction Jim Crow rise. Post-Reconstruction progressive era to Cold War summary. Douglas and Washington represented earlier generations tied to republicanism and post-Civil War optimism, with Washington's pragmatism. Du Bois, emerging later amid entrenched segregation, broke from strict party loyalty and pushed a more militant, intellectual, and eventually Marxist-influenced approach. All three advanced black progress but differed sharply on tactics and timelines. Party alignments on race shifted dramatically in the 20th century. New Deal Democrats gaining black support in the 1930s-1960s. 45 sources list blacks that were Republican after 1854. Thought for 7s many African Americans were Republicans after the party's founding in 1854, especially during the Reconstruction era, 1865 to 1877, and into the early 20th century. The Republican Party was viewed as the party of emancipation and civil rights, linked to Abraham Lincoln, while Southern Democrats were associated with slavery, secession, and later Jim Crow blackpast. Virtually all early black elected officials were Republicans. Here are some of the most notable historical figures, focusing on the 19th and early to mid-20th centuries, with a few later examples for context. Reconstruction era and 19th century pioneers. Frederick Douglass, 1818 to 1895, abolitionist, orator, and statesman, strong Republican supporter and advisor Wikipedia. Hiram Revels, 1827 to 1901, first African American U.S. Senator, RMS, 1870 to 1871 History Blanche K. Bruce, 1841 to 1898, first African American to serve a full U.S. Senate term, RMS, 1875 to 1881 History Joseph H. Rainey, 1832 to 1887, first African American in the U.S. House of Representatives RSC History House Robert Smalls, 1839 to 1915, escaped enslavement, Civil War hero, and U.S. Congressman, RSC, multiple terms. Time Booker T. Washington 1856 to 1915, educator and leader, worked closely with Republican administrations Wikipedia. Norris Wright Cooney, 1846 to 1898, powerful chairman of the Texas Republican Party. DeLasgop others, John R. Lynch, Robert B. Elliott, James T. Rapier, P.B.S. Pinchback, Henry P. Cheatham, George Henry White, last black Southern congressman until the 1970s, and dozens more state legislators and local officials Wikipedia early to mid-20th century. Oscar DePriest, 1871 to 1951, first black congressman from the North, RIL, 1929 to 1935 Wikipedia Edward Brooke, 1919 to 2015, first African American popularly elected to the U.S. Senate RMA, 1967 to 1979, Wikipedia Jackie Robinson, baseball legend, remained a Republican and supported Nixon. Others, Archibald Carey Jr., Robert Church Jr., and various civil rights figures who aligned with the GOP at times. Later notable figures. For broader context, many black Americans continued identifying as or supporting Republicans into the mid to late 20th century and beyond, including Clarence Thomas, Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, Ben Carson, Tim Scott, Herman Cain, and others. Birmingham Times. Note: black support for Republicans was overwhelming in the post-Civil War era but began shifting toward Democrats with the New Deal, 1930s, and especially after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, due to changing party platforms and regional realignments. However, a notable minority remained or became Republicans. Redid. For exhaustive lists, Wikipedia's list of African American Republicans catalogs hundreds across history. Wikipedia, 61 sources.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I did not know about Jackie Robinson, but I'm not surprised, though. I'm not surprised in things. So therefore, talking about a lot of history here. Why am I doing this, right? Well, I'm doing this because once again, we're educating people, right? Black, white, and other, because this is American history. This is not black history. This is American history. And these are things that was written out. It was left out of the history books and things. So what I'm basically doing is trying to spread awareness, talk about things that many people may not know, and things like that. So therefore, when I say that the Republican Party, because it was actually started by abolitionists as well as the Whig Party, blacks and whites got together and formed the Republican Party back in 1854. So I love history. Sometimes I get it wrong, but I'm glad that we are clearing this up and things like that. So therefore, I want people to know that the Republican Party is a party of conservatives, not a party of racists, right? When you look at the conservatives, you look at what they have done, what they have contributed. Like I said, Abraham Lincoln, freeing of the slaves. We're talking about Emancipation Proclamation. So there it is. Blacks understood. That scored with blacks bid because you know why? Because blacks started the help of the Republican Party to stop the spread of slavery heading out to the West, right? This is something that the Dems want to snuff, basically suffocate. They don't want this to come to light, but it's already too late though, So this stuff does exist, right? Because therefore, why did the party, why the parties never switch? And for most part of it though, we're talking about racist whites that are Democrat. Now you have maybe like you said, Strom Thurmond, but it wasn't the majority of them switched from Democrat over to the Republican side though. Most of these people are still Democrat, right? You look at Lyndon B. Johnson, FDR, a lot of these people did not like black people on record, right? They mentioned about W.E.B. Du Bois, he never really was a Republican, right? In fact, he did a lot to basically hurt blacks instead of joining on with Booker T. Washington, joining on with Frederick Douglass, which they were known, right? Republicans. I said this about Martin Luther King Sr. He was also a known Republican. Martin Luther King Jr. was a known Republican as well, too. And there's many, many more out there that were known Republicans. Jackie Robinson, known Republicans. So there that is talking about that. But, this is the first time that I have had my room so, amazing though, man. I try to expose a lot of the bots. Man, the bots got up on out of here, man. I knew they were bots. I knew they were bots though, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. I knew there were bots coming in here and things too, man. And sometimes the bots will still come in. For the most part, are bots and other people. But yeah, so this is what it is though. But yeah, so let's see here. Right, let's do this here. All right, so we talked about that. We talked about some things, ladies and gentlemen, as far as what's going on and things. So therefore, looking at that there, because I'm also streaming on other platforms too, such as Kick, Rumble, Twitch, besides YouTube, Yep, so this is really interesting though, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very interesting, when we're talking about this stuff. So, with this and then right pen again, this is another thing, right pen. Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot why I don't have the people in here. Oh my goodness. I just realized something. This is under the member section. Let me fix this here, ladies and gentlemen. I might be too late though. It's all good though. It's all good. I can always change it. It looked like a video. It's not published. I think I got it listed under as private or member. It's all good though, but in any event, my members, shout out to you guys though, man. I forgot to change something, man, because I said it's never this quiet in my room, man, ever. Let's notice something. But I'm glad though too, for you guys, for the members page. You know what? I may just go ahead and keep this as a members page, but I may want to publish it too because I want this information to really come out and things though. But since you're here, because it looks like I got a member on here right now. Let me see where you coming from. Oh, that's Twitch. Okay, cool. Okay, because I think I forgot to change that. Dang. Okay. But other than that, my Twitch follower though, or Twitch viewer, welcome to the chat. It's usually not this dead, man. I forgot. I listed it as private, but I'm gonna unchange that once the live stream is over with and things. So if you ever been on any of my any of my catalogs over here that I got tons of videos. Hopefully you learned something on things. If you have any questions or whatever like that, because everybody else can't see us but you right now. And maybe people on Rumble, they can see us. But on YouTube, I forgot. I listed it as private. Darn it. Man, it's all good. It's all good. Not worry about it, because when I take it off, then people start popping up in here, though, man. But I'm glad to have you, though, man. I'm glad to have you. I hope you learned something, though, too, because, like I said, maybe you may know this and maybe not. That's okay. That is okay. But yeah, so this is something that is, let's say, woven into American history. The Republican Party, Abraham Lincoln, and abolitionists, we're talking about the black folk, right, that started the Republican Party along with whites, right, which is called the Whig Party. These two got together and formulated the Republican Party, the good old party, right? So due to a lot of brainwashing, where many of us were under the assumption that we believed that the conservative were racist. And this was fed by the Democrats, right? And this is what ended up happening. But we start going back into our history, unpeeling the layers, looking at it through a fine microscope, or a magnifying glass, we can see where the racists and who the racists were, or who they are today, right? So with the Southern Poverty Law Center, this is one of the biggest finds that they have found where there's money, because they've been around since 1971, right? So what this organization does is that it is basically when they point fingers of who the fictitious hate groups are, see, and that's the thing, the fictitious hate groups, right? We have Christian nationals, they have deemed as being a hate group, You have others out there that they have deemed a hate group. Even the Proud Boys, they have deemed them as a hate group. Did you know that the Proud Boys was basically started by blacks and Latinos? They got together, that formulated the Proud Boys. They were the same group that went up there to J6, basically protesting, right? They didn't talk about the 25 undercover FBI agents, right, along with some Klansmen, right, which was all orchestrated by the SPLC, right? And that's another one, right? They don't never talk about this particular, but it's coming out now, though, So therefore, this is why we say the Democrats are the party of hatred, right? Racist, and they fund the Ku Klux Klan, Aryan nations, neo-Nazis, and all the rest of them. This is coming from them on the left. I already went over this with a live stream already, but just kind of reiterating things, though, too. So the choice is pretty clear. So now, up into the midterms, you pretty much would know what to vote for. All this stuff about Trump being a it never happened. Best view deal online. Oh man. Okay. I'm over here talking to oh my goodness. Oh yes, you've been watching me the whole time, man. Tax free. He been watching me forever. It's like this is a bot. Okay, no problem, man. So yeah, so I'm gonna fix this though. No problem at all. I'm gonna fix this. Let's see where can I fix this? Let's see, in stream, go to live stream control. Okay, let's see here. Live stream control here. Okay, let's see here. All right, live stream control. All right, turn on. All right, though. So this is showing up as private. Yeah, this is showing up as private. Let me see if I can fix it, though, too. Ooh, boy. Boy. I'm trying to see if I can fix it. Right. Trying to see if I can fix this thing here. Because I made this private by accident. And it was supposed to go public. Right. Oh boy. Yeah, that's when you doing everything, you know. Oh man, this is what ended up happening though, you know. But hey, I'm not gonna worry about it though. Okay. Yep, so that's what it is though. It's showing up as private. Okay. I was wondering why the room was so quiet. The room is never this quiet, ever. However, let me see here. Automatic recommended. Medium frequency. Yeah, it would be nice if I was able to. I have to do it afterwards, though. Yeah, this is supposed to have been stream settings. All right, let's see here. Yep, it's listed as private. But you know what I'm going to do? Okay, that's what I wanted to do. Let's make that public. There we go. We'll list that as public. Now I should have and get some activity in here, you know. I should get some activity in here now, so. Okay. No problem at all. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So yeah, so they should probably start coming in this room now. I had it on private, man. This room is never quiet. Not this quiet. But yeah, so therefore, yeah, they should be coming in here now and things though too. So we're gonna wait on them. How long I've been in this? Almost an hour. So yeah, let me do this here. I'm gonna go on a restroom break and things. So and then I'm gonna come back on here. Okay, so yeah, so I'm gonna go on a restroom break. Just give me a moment. Restroom break. Just give me a moment. Okay, I am back. Yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys know, man. I had it in private mode. I've been live. Oh my goodness. But yeah, just to talk about some stuff, man. Woo, man. We're talking about the party that never switched over. I may have to just do it again in things, but it's all good. So yeah, let me go ahead and kind of give you guys like a recap of what's been going on here. So did a somewhat of an actual reaction, just basically agreeing because he had some information that I wasn't privy to, but it was pretty cool, So yeah, let's go ahead and do that here. So yep, let me see here. Let's see here. I got to change this here. Give me one moment. Yeah. Hold on for a minute. Yeah, so let me see here. Where is, oh yeah, there he is right here. Okay. So what we're going to do, he goes by the name of the conservative take, right? So the conservative take. Thank you for the like. I appreciate it. I had this thing on private, man. Y'all know how I do. I do the Star Spangled Banner. I had it on private, man. Boy, talk about you got a one production, But I welcome you into the chat. I was wondering why the chat was so darn quiet. I only had one person, and it ended up being a bot over on Twitch. Oh, my goodness, though. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you for the likes.
But yeah, so other than that, so let's go ahead and go into it again. So this is the conservative take where we talk about why the parties never switch. There's some music in here, but before I go into that again, let's go ahead and pull up, you know how I do. This is Right PM. Y'all remember yesterday when I got into a debate a little bit with one of the haters that came in here and things. He was trying to say that the actual myth switch actually happened. But the switch with blacks actually happened with the blacks. It didn't happen with the white Democrats going to the Republican Party. It was just a way of pushing away from the history of the Democrats and slavery, right? We're talking about Ku Klux Klan, right? Jim Crow, segregation. So they try to push away from that. But let's go ahead on and get into it here. So what I did is that, I use Right Pen, and you guys really need to get this thing here. But here it is right here. We're going to go ahead and have it to read it. Just give me one moment.
Why it's often called a myth or overstated. Critics argue this is a simplified, partisan narrative that exaggerates cynical racism as the primary driver while ignoring data, timelines, and broader trends. Key counterpoints include: the shift was gradual and predated heavy GOP involvement. White Southern realignment toward Republicans began earlier, tied to economic modernization rather than a sudden post-1964 flip. Scholars Richard Johnston and Byron Shafer, The End of Southern Exceptionalism, analyzed election returns and surveys showing the South's move to the GOP correlated strongly with rising income, suburbanization, and class-based conservatism in the post-World War II economic boom. Not a top-down racial appeal. Lower-income Southerners remained more Democratic longer. Higher-income ones shifted Republican faster. Nixon's record doesn't fit the racist pander narrative. In 1968, Nixon lost several Deep South states that Goldwater had won in 1964, to George Wallace, the explicit segregationist running as an independent. Nixon enforced desegregation, supported some civil rights measures, and did not run on overt opposition to the 1964-1965 acts. Claims of dog whistles often rely on hindsight readings, post hoc interpretations rather than explicit evidence from Nixon's campaigns. His strategist Kevin Phillips emphasized broader conservative realignment. Voting data and timelines undermine a clean party switch via racism. Southern Democrats, Dixiecrats, opposed civil rights but retained power in Congress and state offices for decades after 1964. Many segregationists stayed Democrats. Black voters began shifting to Democrats under FDR's New Deal, 1930s, not just in the 1960s. Republicans had been the party of Lincoln and civil rights for Black Americans earlier. The GOP gained in the South through cultural conservatism, anti-communism, economic growth, opposition to federal overreach, and religion. issues that appealed beyond race. The full congressional and local flip took until the 1990s, e.g. Gingrich era. Both parties had complex racial histories. Democrats dominated the Jim Crow South for generations. Republicans like Eisenhower made gains in the South pre-1964. The National Democratic Party's civil rights push, Truman onward, accelerating under LBJ alienated conservative Southern whites, but LBJ himself reportedly saw it as a long-term loss for Democrats in the region. Many analyses note Republicans gained by being the more consistently conservative party on economics and culture as the South modernized and became less exceptional. Over-reliance on cherry-picked selective quotes. Atwater's interview and similar statements are often cherry-picked. Broader evidence shows Republican success tied more to the Wallace voters' economic populist grievances migrating to conservatism than explicit race baiting. The myth framing, e.g., by Dinesh D'Souza or Prajaru, argues the narrative shields Democrats from their own history, preserves a democratic self-image by projecting racism onto modern conservatives while downplaying continuity in Southern conservatism.
All right. So that's the thing about it here. We're just talking about when blacks switched from Republican over to the Democrat Party, given a timeline and history, and things. So I'm gonna have to go over it because it was on private mode by accident, and things like that. So so that's one of the things there. I tell you, when you're one operation production team, you know how that is. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, we're just over here just going over some things. Just give me one moment here. I just got to fix something. And then I'm going to show the video and things. So, I was wondering why I only had 2 viewers. I had way more than this, you know what I'm saying? It was on private mode. Darn it, boy. But, things happen, you know how that is. I'm going to still make mistakes. You know how that go. Let's see here. All right. Broadcast. Nope. Just give me one moment here. Okay. Okay. Right. So let me go ahead and do this here. All right. So we got him set up here. Let me move that flag out the way too. Get that out the way here. There we go. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. Yep. He got the book. I'm familiar with that dude. I can't pronounce his name, but he wrote a lot of things though. But we're gonna get down to it though. He addresses him. In fact, let's go ahead and do it now. We're gonna go ahead and get into it right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video here. This is like a little bit of a reaction here to it.
Family and friends that happened. Well, stick around because I'm going to give you 3 convincing arguments that would do just that. And we're starting right now.
Oops. Oh, sorry for a minute. That's some music here, man. Darn it. Hold on for a minute. All right.
Of my Walk Away series, where I hope to give you the tools to help your rational and open-minded friends to also walk away. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 convincing arguments that, if answered honestly, will help your friends do the same thing. If you look on the show notes below, I'm going to give you all the references and the outline for this video. I'm also going to index each point so that you can come back at a later time.
Let me just put this on pause. We got Texas Jane in the house. Hold on for a minute. All right, Texas Jane. I'm going to go ahead and post y'all on comments up here, too. I got that all fixed, So white flight never occurred. No, we're not talking about white flight have actually occurred, yeah. But I'm not talking about that, you know what I'm saying, or the Great Migration. The Great Migration to the North definitely happened. That happened. I'm not saying that, you know. So yeah. Let me see here. What's the other question? He says, LOL, Nixon wasn't a racist. Never heard his recordings though. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get into all that. Just give me a moment here. Who said that? That was Peter. Peter was asking those questions though. I'm gonna acknowledge some of you guys over here. Let's see here. Kind. Is that Klein? He says, LOL, because blacks switched during the LBJ, exactly, back in the 1930s, I do believe, Civil Rights Act and the Democrats filibust. Yeah, you're absolutely right. We're gonna get into all that though. We are gonna get into all of that. I'm just over here acknowledging your comments now and got this fixed. All right, man, I had this thing on private, man. That's why y'all missed a lot of the good stuff. Unless if you go back in the beginning, then you will see it, you know. Peter, yeah, I'm familiar with that dude that wrote, yeah, he got a few books out there. Yep, exactly. Yeah, but we're going to get into it. Yeah, he was correct. Klein, yeah, he was correct. We're going to get into it. You know, I'm not discounting him at all, you know, but we are going to get into it. It feels good being able to see y'all post up here live. We got Texas Jane, and y'all been listening to Texas Jane. Be sure. Actually, wait a moment. We're gonna do this here. Let's see here.
Please like, comment, and subscribe, please.
Go ahead, y'all. Listen to Texas Jane. You know. Let me see here. What country malls? Okay, what country malls out ballots to all of the citizens 0? Let me see here. Kindly says that's how Biden won. Well, it was a lot. Well, it was off of mail-in ballots though, and things back in 2020. Because Detroit was one of the cities. Besides, I think it was actually I think it was Philadelphia, but Detroit, they just stuffed those bad boys in. It was, and that's one of the things about it though. They stuffed those ballots in there and so forth, you know. But I'm gonna go into the video thing. There's Texas Jane there saying howdy. She said hey, you know what I'm saying. I say it's like the Texans do. They say howdy, you know, howdy, you know. Glenn says is there should never. Let's see, is there should never. I'm just gonna say. Should it never be no mail in? He said balance. I know what you meant to say, ballots. That's how people cheat, guys. Unless yeah, exactly. That's exactly how they cheat. Yeah, you're right about that though. You forgot about Maria. But LOL. We're gonna get into. Let me get into this. I'm looking at some of you guys' comments. So just stay put right there. You know, hold on for a minute. Let me go and play the video first. I got you covered. Hold on for a minute.
Let's begin. For the claim that the parties at some point in time switched, we have to come to some reasonable arguments. These 3 questions are something that you ask the person who has the objection. Each question will be a question to them, allowing them to go through the rationale of what they're about to learn. This is very important. The first argument in the form of a question would be, when did white Southerners who used to vote Democrat start to vote Republican? The second question is, when did blacks who used to vote Republican start to vote Democrat? The third question is, when did the core values of each party switch? Because really, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about the change of the value system from one party to the other. So right now, we're gonna have to walk them through each step, okay? And we're gonna do this one at a time. So for the first topic, when did white Southerners who used to vote Democrat start to vote Republican? The fact of the matter is that white Southerners began to vote Republican in the 70s and 80s. Surprised? In a book by Brian Shafer called The End of Southern Exceptionalism, he outlines all of this. I have a link to that book below. So what he found was that as racism in the South declined, the identification to the Republican Party increased. he found that the least racist Southerners became Republicans. The most racist Southerners stayed Democrats. So as the South became less agrarian or rural, whites started to identify with the Republican appeal for upward mobility, free market, prosperity, and equal opportunity. The second question we're going to tackle is, when did blacks who used to vote Republican start to vote Democrat? So to argue that the party switched, you would have to argue that blacks changed parties sometime after the 60s. But the fact of the matter is that blacks turned from the Republican Party in the 1930s. So you may want to offer up this, that people vote their own self-interests. So it's reasonable to think that Democrats today are voting for what they feel is their best interest. For the third point here, what are the core values of each party and when did they actually switch? Okay, so if your friend or your family member has gotten this far for those first 2 points, that's a good sign. But the fact of the matter is, in their mind, they're probably thinking, you know what, well, we're the party of civil rights, we have evolved, we've gotten past those archaic ideas. So the plan here is to give a contrast between the Democrat Party and the Republican Party then and now. We're going to take past evidence and we're going to marry that with contemporary evidence, and we're going to build a narrative that makes sense to them, because what they see today is going to be very similar.
I just want to let you guys know too, I'm going to come back to the comments. There is some music in here, so I may have to do some pauses and some skips, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, just want to put that out, but let him explain it. And this is coming from the conservative take.
In concept and philosophy to what was going on before. And that's how we're going to do this. So let's go through a few points. Lyndon Johnson, who's a Democrat, passed.
Okay, there's the music right here. Hold on for a minute. But he does go into the history, right? Right, so here it is. Hold on for a minute. Talk about the representatives. All right. Hold on for a minute. All this got music on it, you know. Here it is right here, laid out here. United States House of Representatives, you know. You got Albert Gore Sr., right? Related to Al Gore Jr. I wonder is a relation. Probably is, though, right? Look at that, Lyndon B. Johnson, right? We got Strom Thurmond up here, you know. We got Harry F. Byrd, you know. I wonder is he related to Robert Byrd, but at any event, yeah, let's go ahead on and push on through here a little bit because there's some music there.
But what they don't tell you is that he was strongly in favor of the 1957 and 1960 versions.
Hold on, he's talking about, hold on for a minute. Hold on, he's talking about Barry Goldwater. Hold on for one moment, please. Hold on for, what the? Ooh, that's Hillary Clinton. What the? That don't look like Bill, does it? Oh my goodness.
Exact. So now we come to an important figure, Barry Goldwater. Democrats love to bring him up because he was against the 1964 Civil Rights Act as well. But what they don't tell you is that he was strongly in favor of the 1957 and 1960 versions of the Civil Rights Act, which just so happened the Democrats also were totally opposed to. So who was Barry Goldwater? He was a founding member of his chapter in Arizona of the NAACP. He pushed to desegregate the Arizona National Guard. And so when we get back to the 1964 Act, why did he disagree with it? Because he had fundamental constitutional problems against it. It wasn't because it was racist, it was because the issues he had were just unconstitutional. Barry Goldwater was not a racist. Still don't believe me? Well, a gentleman by the name of Martin Luther King Sr. was a very strong Barry Goldwater supporter. Let's talk about the big switch. This is what they talk about where at some point in time, the Democrats became Republicans and the Republicans became Democrats. Well, what is that all about? After 1964, there was only one senator that left the Democrat Party to become a Republican.
And that was Strom Thurmond. He's going to talk about this, and I said this earlier in my live when I had it on private. Once again, I do apologize about that. But he's the only one that left from being a Democrat over to the Republican. But it wasn't this big switch of Democrats going over to the Republican side. If it was any type of switch, it would be the black vote from Republicans over to the Democrat Party. But we're going to go and talk about that here. Here you go.
You probably know him. His name is Strom Thurmond. So who was Strom Thurmond? And was he by himself? Was it just that one senator, or was there others? In Dinesh D'Souza's movie, Hillary's America, he goes...
And this is the guy right here, Peter. You brought him up in things. I'm familiar with him. He wrote a lot of books. But yeah, Hillary's America, right? The Secret History of the Democrat Party. Here it is right here. I said we're going to get to it. We're going to get down to it today, right?
Goes through this in great detail. From the research that Dinesh uncovered, he found that if you go from the year 1860 to the year 2000, if you take all of the leaders from the Ku Klux Klan, all of the leaders from the other racist organizations of the time, all of the Democrat senators and congressmen at the state house and at the congressional level, and if you take every person that voted against the 1964 Civil Rights Act, he found that less than 1% left the Democrat Party and became Republican.
You hear this? This blows out that myth coming from the Democrats about a myth about being a party switch. That was a myth. If anything, Strom Thurmond is the only one that left the Democrat over to the Republican Party. But it wasn't like this big group of senators and all these other people. It's not there. You know, it's not there, right? Even Dinesh, I think, talked about it in his book. But, see, this is the thing about it, right? The guy wanted to argue with me yesterday on the debate about how this party switch myth happened, and it did not happen. It's not
Over
there.
1,600 people who are Democrats, who are racist, only 8 left to become Republican. The rest, all...
And that's still 1 or 8. And the other ones, I mean, they make it sound like the whole damn party went over to the Republican side. But here it is, 8.
stayed Democrats to the day they died. So now I'm going to go through a quick lightning round of information that's well documented that, if they aren't on board yet, will make it very difficult by the time I'm finished. The majority of Black Americans were voting Democrat by the 1940s, not the 50s, and surely not the 60s. In fact, Truman won the Black vote by 80% in 1948. So in 1932, an important man by the name of Robert Vann, who was the publisher of the Pittsburgh Courier, led the charge for realignment. He wrote articles encouraging blacks to leave the Republican Party and start to vote for Democrats. He urged his readers, "My friends, it's time to turn Lincoln's picture to the wall." The last Republican presidential candidate to win the black vote was Herbert Hoover. In fact, in the 1930s, the black vote for the Democrat Party went from 15% to a whopping 70% in 4 years. So it was the New Deal, the benefits of the New Deal under FDR, that drove blacks into the Democrat Party. As Dinesh D'Souza mentions, it was a Faustian deal, meaning that they traded benefits, economic benefits, for being in bed with the racists. They left the party of abolition. They left the party of Lincoln. They left the party of Frederick Douglass to go sit in bed with the party of the Dixiecrats and the Ku Klux Klan. You may have heard of the decision Brown versus the Board of Education, where schools were desegregated. Well, the last obstructionist to that was a gentleman by the name of Fred Vinson. He just happened to be the Supreme Court Chief Justice, and he was also the last Chief Justice appointed by a Democrat. President Eisenhower backed the Civil Rights Bill. In fact, his Congress was the author of it. He federalized the National Guard to go to Little Rock Central High School to protect the citizens there. The Deep South did not abandon the Democrat Party after 1964. In fact, the Republicans didn't gain a majority of Southern congressional seats until the election of 1994, 30 years later. Look, if the new civil rights Southern voters were actually racist, one could presume that these voters came from Southern rural areas. But that's not the case. In a book by Gerald Alexander called The Myth of the Racist Republicans, he documents this. He finds that Republicans didn't come from rural areas, they were coming from the suburbs and from the cities. Like we said before, they were looking for upward mobility and they were looking for prosperity and equal opportunity. They didn't come from Mississippi, Georgia, or Alabama. It started in states like Virginia, to North Carolina, to Tennessee, to Florida. Eisenhower did better in the peripheral states. In this book, Alexander says, in sum, the GOP's Southern electorate was not rural, nativist, less educated, or afraid of change, or concentrated in the most stagnant parts of the Deep South. It was disproportionately suburban, middle class, educated.
All right, hold on for a minute. All right, what happened with the audio here?
So and the
okay.
growth points that were, so to speak, the least southern parts of the South. So what Alexander is saying is, like we said before, as the South became less racist, it became more Republican. So what we're finding is that by the 1960s, all the progress that had been made up to that point were either stalled or reversed entirely. In other words, the first half of the 20th century, we saw progress. In the second half of the 20th century, we saw decline.
All right, gotta put the music, gotta put it on pause though, you know. But there it is right there in a nutshell though. So this destroys all of the myths coming from the left about how Republicans are so racist, when in fact it was actually their party, right? This great myth switch never happened, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, so therefore that's why I'm saying the reason, and I'm going to explain why I'm doing this, right?
Please like, comment, and subscribe, please.
Yeah, so we know that we have the midterms, right? So a lot of our job is to educate people that have an open mind, that is willing to accept new ideas and new things that they didn't know, which is, you know what I'm saying, which is information, you know? And we're going to go over some of the most popular Republicans. I always said that Daddy King, Martin Luther King Sr., he was Republican, right? As well as, as Martin Luther King Jr. And there's a lot of other ones though, you know?
Please like, comment, and subscribe, please.
You know what I'm saying? So therefore, so we're going to go over that. In fact, let's still do this right now because we got some music over here. But what we're going to do is that we're going to talk about Frederick Douglass, right? We're going to talk about Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, to save my voice, I got another way of doing this and make it a little more easier and a little bit more streamlined, you know, because I was talking earlier as well.
Frederick Douglass. Douglass, the prominent abolitionist, orator, and statesman, was a Republican. He supported the party starting in the 1850s because it was the anti-slavery party, founded in 1854, with Abraham Lincoln as its first successful presidential candidate in 1816. He publicly declared himself a Republican, voted Republican, and campaigned for the party. In an 1870 address, he stated, "I am a Republican." He advised black voters to support the Republican Party as the one more likely to protect their rights. Frederick Douglass Papers Project. He received 1 vote for U.S. President at the 1888 Republican National Convention, the first African American to receive such a vote at a major party convention. Facebook. Douglass remained loyal to the Republicans even as he critiqued them at times, viewing them as better than the Democrats, the party most associated with Southern slavery, secession, and later Jim Crow resistance. Jim Artis B. Substack.
Okay, so this is it about Frederick Douglass. Now we got Booker T. Washington as well too. Let's go ahead and have them to read this here. All right, go ahead.
Booker T. Washington. Washington, the educator, author, and founder of the Tuskegee Institute, was also a Republican. His Wikipedia entry and historical records list him as such. Wikipedia. He worked closely with Republican presidents like Theodore Roosevelt, e.g., advising on racial issues and Southern patronage, and dispensed Republican political patronage heritage while Washington emphasized education, self-help, and accommodation over direct political agitation in public. His Atlanta Compromise approach. He operated within Republican networks and supported the party's influence. PBS. Context note. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, the Republican Party, often called the Party of Lincoln, was the one most associated with abolition, civil rights amendments, 13th, 14th, 15th, and opposition to Southern Democratic policies on race. Party alignments have shifted significantly since then on many issues. Both men aligned with the Republicans of their era based on the politics of emancipation, Reconstruction, and black advancement.
So already we walking this thing down, right? When we talk about prolific people and things, especially that were black, right? Like I said yesterday, this is what I was explaining to the guy in the debate. I wish he was in here now. He'll probably watch it later on. I mentioned my Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, right? Now, when it come down to W.E.B. Du Bois and things like that, it's going to explain here what he was really about. But I don't think he joined on to a Republican until like later on. But he did a lot to hinder black success. He didn't really align with Frederick Douglass nor Booker T. Washington's ideologies and so forth. But let's go ahead and have him read it here, and then we'll go from there.
W.E.B. Du Bois was not a consistent Republican like Frederick Douglass or Booker T. Washington. He was more politically independent, pragmatic, and increasingly radical leftist over his long life. 1868 to 1963. Wikipedia. Political party affiliations. Douglass and Washington, loyal to the Republican Party, the Party of Lincoln, throughout their careers. Douglass actively campaigned for it and saw it as the vehicle for black rights post-emancipation. Washington worked within Republican networks, advised GOP presidents, e.g., Theodore Roosevelt, and operated through patronage systems tied to the party ad museum. Du Bois, not tied to one major party. He urged black voters to break from Republican loyalty when the party failed to deliver, e.g., after 1906 violence under Roosevelt Taft. He endorsed Democrats like William Jennings Bryan, 1908, and Woodrow Wilson, 1912, later regretted, switched to Republican Charles Evans Hughes, 1916, and supported others based on promises on lynching, rights, etc. He often backed third parties or the lesser evil and criticized both major parties for failing black Americans. Wikipedia. Later in life, Du Bois moved further left. He considered himself a socialist, joined Socialist Party briefly in 1911, supported Progressive Party candidates, e.g. Henry Wallace in 1948, and joined the Communist Party USA in 1961 at age 93, viewing socialism-communism as the path to black liberation and global peace. Pia plus world.
Yeah, so this is where this stuff came from with W.E.B. Du Bois, He was one of your first socialists, one of your first socialist communist, socialism and communism coming from this man here, But let's go further down here. There's some other things about this as well. I wanted to give you guys a list of some other people maybe you may know and may not know. But this is all the Reconstruction era. You know what I'm saying? We talk about 1865 to 1877. We're going to talk about that though too. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to run it all the way up. Let's see here. All right, so we'll go ahead and have it to speak here, and then I'm going to get with the comments, so just give me one moment.
Reconstruction era and 19th century pioneers. Frederick Douglass, 1818 to 1895, abolitionist, orator, and statesman, strong Republican supporter and advisor. Wikipedia. Hiram Revels, 1827 to 1901, first African American U.S. Senator, RMS, 1870 to 1871. History. Blanche K. Bruce, 1841 to 1898, first African American to serve a full U.S. Senate term, RMS, 1875 to 1881. History. Joseph H. Rainey, 1832 to 1887, first African American in the U.S. House of Representatives. RSC. History. House. Robert Smalls, 1839 to 1915, escaped enslavement, Civil War hero, and U.S. Congressman, RSC, multiple terms. Time. Booker T. Washington, 1856 to 1915, educator and leader, worked closely with Republican administrations. Wikipedia. Norris Wright Cooney, 1846 to 1898, powerful chairman of the Texas Republican Party. DeLasgop. Others: John R. Lynch, Robert B. Elliott, James T. Rapier, P.B.S. Pinchback, Henry P. Cheatham, George Henry White, last black Southern congressman until the 1970s, and dozens more state legislators and local officials. Wikipedia. Early to mid-20th century. Oscar DePriest, 1871 to 1951, first black congressman from the North, RIL, 1929 to 1935. Wikipedia. Edward Brooke, 1919 to 2015, first African American popularly elected to the U.S. Senate. RMA, 1967 to 1979. Wikipedia. Jackie Robinson, baseball legend, remained a Republican and supported Nixon. Others: Archibald Carey Jr., Robert Church Jr., and various civil rights figures who aligned with the GOP at times.
All right, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is it in a nutshell. So when you call people like myself and other black conservatives, you have a history, and these men were great men. That means that you turn your back on the history of our people. These were bright, brilliant people, especially in the Reconstruction period. If it wasn't for these men, we would never have the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. 13th Amendment was the abolishment of slavery, 1865. 14th Amendment, right, which allowed birthright citizenship, which was originally set for the abolitionist blacks, right? Abolitionists, right? We're talking about people after slavery. They had to decide on what they were going to do to the ex-slaves. So therefore, this is why we are citizens here. And this is why we can never be deported. All this other lies about that, they don't know the history. And then the 15th Amendment, this is the one where it allowed us to vote. Black men was voting in the Reconstruction period from 1865 to 1877, right? So therefore, they even put a poll tax charging blacks in things. And then when the poll tax was removed, it's one of those 20-something amendments. And I should know that as well. But these are things that blacks back then, they knew the history. Now blacks have been brainwashed and conditioned to, when they look at Republican, they look at it as a negative, bad, racist thing, though. You can read any book that talk about this type of stuff. You must know your history. This is why I have always said that the Republican Party is the party of our ancestors, because we helped start the Republican Party, right? So for you to turn your back, so it doesn't fit the narrative, because that would be the case. If Abraham was a Lincoln, was a slave, then hated slaves, why would he draft up the Emancipation Proclamation? It was the freeing of the slaves, right? The slaves, right? The black slave babies and all the rest of them. There was a lot of great works that went on, even in the Reconstruction period, right? And well after. Famous people. Some of you didn't even know that Jackie Robinson was even a Republican. And there's a lot of lists, right? So this is what I love history. Sometimes I get it wrong. However, this is something that must be said. And I noticed that the black Democrats, some of them know this, some of them probably don't. because it destroys their narrative, right? They like it the way it is to try to feed crap. This is history here. This is actually documented, right? You can't refute this to say, oh, this is just made up. No. So this destroys the guy that was in here yesterday trying to hold up that there was a myth change or a shift change or a party switch. It didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? It did not happen. But here it is right here, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I said, and I talked about this earlier, but I had it on private, it was on private mode. But let's go ahead and talk about some others that you guys know as well too, and things. So, which some of you guys definitely know who these other Republicans are, right?
Later notable figures. For broader context, many Black Americans continued identifying as or supporting Republicans into the mid to late 20th century and beyond, including Clarence Thomas, Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, Ben Carson, Tim Scott, Herman Cain, and others. Birmingham Times. Note: Black support for Republicans was overwhelming in the post-Civil War era but began shifting toward Democrats with the New Deal, 1930s, and especially after the Civil Rights Act of 1964, due to changing party platforms and regional realignments. However, a notable minority remained or became Republicans. Redid. For exhaustive lists, Wikipedia's list of African American Republicans catalogs hundreds across history.
All right, there it is in a nutshell. Let's look at some of the comments here too. But oh yeah, let me go ahead and pull this back up. We got Joe Mama in the house, boy. Not Joe Mama, Joe Mama, boy. The great Joe Mama. Hold on for a minute, let me do it. You know, I always get excited seeing some of the people been rocking with me since the beginning. Joe Mama, ladies and gentlemen. We got Joe Mama. When Joe Mama speaks, everybody listens. Let me make sure I'm going to acknowledge you, Joe Mama. Yeah, hold on for a minute. We've been trying to get the room under control, Joe Mama, man, and things. I admit, though, it's my fault for letting it get out of hand for so long, but order will be restored. Joe Mama, he says, yes, Jason, the new mods are, band happy. I can post again, too. See that? I can post again. Fix that, too, Jason Beatrice in the house. Boy, Jason, hold on for a minute. Let me do it right. Hold on for a minute. Yeah, that's for you and Joe Mama. Not Joe Mama, but Joe Mama. We got, Jason Beatrice, I put that little video up I did last night for the members and stuff. It's going to get better than that. We're going to talk about that Civil War thing that came out in 2024. All right, let me see here. Jimmy says, Texas Jane. What did you do? Run out of talking points from the right, thinking blah, blah, blah. But see, right now, Texas Jane, for Jimmy, see this, what I've shared with you guys, it destroys their whole narrative, man. Their whole narrative is destroyed off of that, though. Because for us to turn our back on Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, so I guess those are sellouts too, though, Jimmy? Huh? Those are sellouts? Abraham Lincoln was a sellout too? Huh? He was a bigot? Come on now. Is that what you're trying to say? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't work. It just doesn't work, sir. Glenn, Glenn says, how are you sitting on your carport? Usually a carport, you're under it. Let me see here. Texas Jane. Armed. Yeah, Texas Jane stays strapped, though, too, man. She's a modern-day Annie Oakley, ladies and gentlemen. Annie Oakley, you know what I'm saying? Glenn says, you're correct. I'm sitting under the roof of my carport. Glenn says, you got me. Jimmy says, Texas Jane, stay armed. It's not going to help you. Shit if it won't. You don't want to run up on Texas Jane. You don't want them problems. Is she from Texas too? That's one thing about it. Texans, they practically born knowing how to shoot because they start off real young. Am I right, Texas Jane? They be like, pow, 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 pow. She's a modern day Annie Oakley. I'm going to tell you. Glenn says there's nothing wrong with being armed whatsoever. It depends on how you choose to use it. Jimmy says, Glenn, I know I was just trying to make some humor. Yeah, they so serious on the left sometimes. Lighten up. Texas Jane says, Jimmy, I be just fine. Oh, boy, Texas Jane. Don't want them problems. Better leave Texas Jane alone, though. You don't want them problems. Leave her alone. You know, that's all I got to say. Glenn says, but my power bill is on point. I promise you that ain't no joke. Uh-oh. Yeah. Let me see him post that up over here, too. Man, doesn't it feel good for me to be able to post again, man? Yeah, I always like to acknowledge. Joe Mama said, what up, Tony? What's going on with you, Joe Mama? You know you've been rocking with me from the beginning, man. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I tell you, this was my original fact checker, man, because when I get something wrong, Joe Mama gonna let me know, though. I got a few things wrong, but we got it corrected, though, for the most part of it, though, too, man. Yeah, Joe Mama, my mother is doing fine, Joe Mama. Mama is doing fine. I talked to her earlier today, you know. Let me see. Jimmy says, no worries, Glenn. I hope your bill is that low. I wish mine was. Okay, Glenn says, I wish it was too, brother. It keeps me a little bit with everything else being as light as it is, you know. Boy, I tell you, man. Let me see here. Jimmy says, what? Question mark. Does Jackie Robinson being a Republican have anything to do with history? Oh, yeah, it has a lot to do with it because it means that Jackie Robinson knows his history. He understands the historical and the creation of the Republican Party back in 1854. Yep, so he knows a lot about it. Texas Jane says, facts. Facts. And that's Jackie Robinson, right? Who's Jackie Robinson was on the right side of history? That's what it has to do with history. Jackie Robinson is on the right side of history because he understood what the left was all about. There was a party of racists. There was a party of slavery, bigotry, right? Those were the ones that started the segregation, right? Jim Crow, the black laws, which is Jim Crow and all that stuff, right? We talking about redlining as well too. All those things started from the left, and he knew his history. That's what makes this thing so great. Just like in that lineage, Daddy King Sr., he was a Republican. Martin Luther King Jr. was a Republican, right? Booker T. Washington. There was a lot. There was so many blacks that were Republican, even famous people, right? Are Republican. Jimmy J.J. Walker off of Good Times, he's a Republican, right? There's many other celebrities that are Republican as well, too, because they know the history. So that's what we're saying, though. We're just walking this down just to let people know this was the original party that stopped the spread of slavery spreading out to the West. So that's exactly what it is. So it doesn't fit the narrative of what the left trying to paint as far as the Republicans as being racist, though, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot more that are Republicans as well, too. So you have to question yourself, are you on the right side of history or are you on the wrong side of history? And that's the question, though, right? I know for a fact that I'm on the right side of history because my lineage that started the Republican Party, 1854, right, wasn't our lineage that started the Democrat Party in 1828. That was a whole different animal right there, you know? So a lot to do with the Reconstruction period. This is why the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment was passed, right? Due to the help, right, that pioneered that was the Republican Party, right? Boy, I tell you, man, we be cooking, don't we? Cook, boy. Boy, they can't, boy, that's what I say, man, you know? Oh, man, cooking. Oh, there he is right here. Gord has returned. Man, Gord, yeah, man, we had that debate, man. I'm cooking you on that debate right now. Yeah, I was hoping you was going to show back up. I told you I was going to get you, and I got you, though. You go back and watch the whole video, though, you know. You understand when you were trying to push that narrative, how the party switch and all that type of stuff, you know. Who do you have, Strom Thurmond and 7 others? That don't make up the whole Democratic Party, sir, you know what I'm saying? I told you I was going to get you. It was just, boy, I would have got you yesterday, but it was running too late, you know. Let me see here. Jimmy saying Texas Jane still a clown though, you know. Y'all leave Texas Jane alone though, man. Leave Texas Jane alone. You know, yeah, you know, she carry a nice six iron. You don't want to mess with her. Leave Annie Oakley alone, don't you? You know what I'm saying? Better leave Texas Jane alone. Yeah, I tell you. Let me see here. Texas Jane says, my dogs are named Trump and Melania. Oh, yeah. Trump and Melania. You know what I'm saying? And they don't play. Go ahead, Texas Jane. Boy, I tell you, man. Yeah, that's the name of her dogs, right? Trump and Melania. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, that's a good one there, boy. You know, it's still fun, though.
Thank you for the likes.
Let me see here. Charlie P says, amazing man, Trump. Yeah, amazing man. Well, you got that right, though, Charlie P. I'm all for peace, too. Boy, I'm all for peace. Laughing my ass off. Sweet is what Glenn says. Let me see here. What's that? J. I'm just going to call it. Can I call you Jazz? It says, I can't read it. I can't read it. Cannot read it. The debate host, and he claimed to know more about Republican strategies than Lee Atwater, right? Chairman of the Republican National Committee, right? Let me see it. Texas Jane says, Jimmy says the paid clown. Oh, my goodness. Joe Mama says, that's good to hear. She's doing good. Mother's Day is soon, too. Don't forget. Yeah, Mother's Day is coming up. Mother's Day is coming up, boy. Yep. What you got for some of you guys? What you gonna get for your mama, right? Yeah. You know, I got to post that too. Let me see here. Yeah, y'all gotta stop coming for Texas Jane, man. Leave Texas Jane alone. You know what I'm saying? What man argues with a woman? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Adrian says there's a few clowns in the chat that need to be put on their clown on the clown list. I know, right? If I had their photos, I would. If I had their photos, I sure would, Adrian. I would too, man. I would put them on there. But we're gonna get into the Democratic Clown Show in a minute, though. You know. Yep. I just love having fun. Let me see. Texas Jane says, Jimmy, aw, does that trigger you? That's what Texas Jane said. Texas Jane can really hold her own, though. And things though. Let me see here. Let's see. Jay-Z says Trump is Jesus. You know, all I would say is Trump is definitely getting help through Jesus by God. That's what I would say. You know, Black Guy 9 is in the house. Oh, there you go, boy. Where my thing at? Where my thing at, boy? We got Black Guy 9 in the house. He says, educate them, Professor Tony. Hey, I do my very best. You know, I'm not a professor, though, but I do my best. Man, I don't know how much you heard, though, Black Guy 9, but we've been walking it down, man, you know. It just doesn't support what they were trying to paint the conservative Republicans, man. We went down through the history today. Boy, we went down to the history today, boy. That's the thing about it, though. We hit with so much knowledge today. And then one to put up about Jackie Robinson. He was actually a Republican as well. You know what I'm saying? All of them, man. Republicans, man. All the way up to Abraham Lincoln, you know. Oh, my goodness. All too easy, you know. Let me see here. Long Bong Thunderclap says, which side voted for the black woman? Who you talking about? You talking about Kamala? Gamala. You talking about Gamala? Is that who you talking about? I'm not for sure. Are you talking about her? Let me see here. Trump is Jesus. Let me see here. Glenn says, I generally just listen to this cat, but I talk more today than ever. Oh, yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. It's all good. It's the 2006 idiot. Let me see here. Joe Mama says, don't be a penis or leave, bro. This is what Joe Mama is saying, you know. You don't have to be a DICK, you know what I'm saying? But We're just saying though, just respect, people and stuff like, if we know that you don't have to agree with everything. That's cool, right? Most Republicans don't have any problems with Democrats disagreeing with them. It'd be nice if we were able to come to the table, right, and talk about some differences without getting into like a heated or triggered debate. That's the thing about that. That'd be nice. Oh, man, Jimmy, man, you still going after Texas Jane, man? What's going on? You must like Texas Jane or something. Texas Jane just laughing. Texas Jane said, I just laughing, boy. I tell you, where my sound effect at? What the? Yeah. Adrian says, Adrian Wickerson, right, says, if you don't know the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, from the President of the United States, maybe read your Bible and stop denying elections, right? Yeah, Adrian, that's a strong message, and I have to agree. There's something divine about this president here, Trump. Something divine, right? Something divine in you. Oh, yes, definitely something going on, though, He's been, moving Trump's head, moving his, I tell you, man, Mr. Dan says, of course, there was a party switch. How so, Mr. Dens? You got to be able to explain it, because it was like 8 others that switched over to the Republican Party. What's his name? Strom Thurmond was one of them. As well as Strom Thurmond was a known Klansman as well, too, coming from the left. So, but it doesn't make up the narrative. The majority of them still stayed Democrat. There's no history stating that all these senators and congressmen went from the Democrats over to the Republican. That is a Democrat talking point, which is a myth. It doesn't exist. Let me see. A Long Bond Thunderclap says, which party had candidates that wasn't a white man? Which candidates did have a white man? We know that blacks don't have their own party, though. Long Bond Thunderclap. You know what I'm saying? The only party I said that was started with blacks and whites would have been a Republican Party. So yes, we do have blacks and whites, right? Because in that time there was a lot of black men in the Reconstruction period that started the Republican Party. Brought on the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. They stopped the spread of slavery. So to answer your question, that would be the Republican Party, historically. Glenn says, you're welcome. Jimmy says, he's addressing someone else here. Trump is not your daddy, nor will he ever be Jesus. Jesus never, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh man. Oh, Jimmy, man. Oh man, I can't even read the rest of that. Oh, Jimmy, man. Oh, man, I went over this whole 34 count felon thing. Oh, my gosh. Jimmy, don't you lose my number. I got that song, man. Oh, where I can't find you. Yeah, man. Let me see. Gore says, that's right. Jimmy says, Texas Jane, when you going to answer my questions, why can't you vote for he says here, why can't you mean, why do you vote for a 34 count felon? That's the question mark. You know what I'm saying? He's never been charged with that though, Jimmy. Felon, that's all been thrown out. It's been dismissed. Dismissed. I got to get that sound bite. Y'all know where that was from. Dismissed. I got to get that, man. I got to get that one, man. Mr. Dan says, Trump and his supporters can go to hell. Oh, my goodness, man. See, this, you know what this sounds like to me, ladies and gentlemen? Excuse me. This doesn't sound like hating Republicans. They just hate Trump, right? They hate Trump. They didn't have this type of smoke with George Bush Jr. They didn't like him, but they didn't hate him like they hated Trump. Even with Bush Sr., right? when the Republicans had Bush Sr., right, or Reagan, who do you think that the Dems hate the worst? Is it Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr., or Donald J. Trump? I would like to see it. Put the president name down. Who is the one you hate the most, right? Excuse me. Who is the one you hate the most? I thank you for the like. Who's the one y'all hate for them? Who you hate the most? I would like to know. You know, you can put it down in the comments. Let me go ahead and scroll on down here. We got. Did I miss anybody? Hold on for a minute. Trump and the supporters. Oh, you read that. Glenn says, everybody remember, your mama, she won't be here forever. That's true though too, Glenn. Got a good point, man. Your mama won't be here forever. Cherish your mama, right? And I see my mama for quite often, you know what I'm saying? Cherish your mama, man. You only have one mama, you know what I'm saying? Right? Jimmy says, Channel Runner, you're the one that is a clown wearing a hat and voting for a man that would, he talking about me. Okay. All right. Let me see here. You can call me Tony, right? He said, I'm going to read the rest here. That is a clown wearing a hat and voted for a man that would not let black families move into the property, calling it a racist wake up. When did that happen, Mel Jimmy? That's not true, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not true at all, though, you know? That is just not true. I wasn't even old enough to, when all, you know what I'm saying, let alone, that's just simply not true. We're talking about Trump here, man. This is Donald J. Trump, who is the man that risks his neck out for a brother man. Trump, damn right. Yeah, I got to get that, man. Bobby Fisher says, still no policy. Democrats running their evil mouths. Like always, though, Bobby, like always, man, some things will never change. Some things will never change, you know. Black Guy 9 says, yes, sir. Here you go. Yep, that's it. I got it. Yeah, I put the, explanation points on here. Jimmy says, let's see here. What's it supposed to be? Let's see here. Proof. Yep. Oh, Professor. Supposed to be short for Professor Tony. Okay, if you're so educated, why do you not know Trump literally was sued for not letting black families move into the properties in the 70s? Because like I said, I wasn't around, first of all, you know, but I have heard stuff like this. But Trump has another take on it, though. And when I do, you know what I'm going to do, Jimmy? If you will allow me to do my research, and I'm going to look that up. In fact, let's go ahead and do it now. Because I got something called this is my fact checker, though. It works like Joe Mama. But hold on for a minute. Hold on for one moment. Give me one moment, though, Jimmy. Give me one moment. Let's go here. Go ahead and type this in. Hold on. Did Trump deny, right, blacks in his housing unit? I think his housing unit, right? Let's take a look at it. Housing unit in the 70s. Is that right? I just want to make sure. Let me ask Jimmy. Is that right, Jimmy? Before I go any further, right? Because I remember what you said, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's just go and take a look. We'll just keep it like that. Let's expose it. Give him an analysis. Survey says, and let's take a look at it here. This is my AI Joe Mama. Oh, my goodness. All right, let's go ahead and enlarge it too. All right, let's take a look at it. I'm going off of what Jimmy said, right? Did Trump settle? Now, they've had to make the correction. Settle, not deny, settle blacks in the housing unit in the 70s, right? Here it is right here. What they left out, in 1973, the DOJ case was a civil suit, not a criminal conviction. and was settled without any admission of guilt. Uh-oh, Jimmy. The settlement applies to Trump Management Company, not Trump personally. Similar discrimination complaints were filed against hundreds of landlords across the country during the same era. Trump later sued the DOJ for defamation over the case, which was eventually dropped. Uh-oh. Oh, man, that just destroyed. Boy, that's like, I got to get my explosion bomb. Boom. Remember I said before it wasn't true. I said, let me go ahead and research it anyway. I was just joking, though, but I just saying, though, Jimmy, it's like, boom. You know what I'm saying? The Grandmaster. Boy, if it wasn't, who else was going to tell me would be Joe Mama. Yeah, but in any event, here it is. A civil settlement with no admission of guilt is being framed as a personal verdict. No conviction, context matters. Oh, Jimmy, boy, we over here hitting Jimmy left and right. Boom, again, man. Jimmy down. Down goes Jimmy. Down goes Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, man. Boy, hold on for a minute. There's more. 1973 housing case is frequently misrepresented. Trump management settled a civil suit with no admission of wrongdoing. Donald Trump was not personally convicted of anything. Hundreds of landlords faced similar complaints during that era, framing a corporate settlement and a personal act of racial discrimination is misleading and leave out critical facts. Oh my goodness. Comment, worth nothing. This is a civil settlement, no admission of guilt, and applies to the company, not Trump personally. The full context changed the story significantly. Oh my goodness, Jimmy. Oh my goodness, Jimmy Mack. Oh my goodness, when are you coming back, Jimmy? Oh, Jimmy Mack, when are you coming back? Oh man, boy, this just, boy, I tell you, boy, it just destroyed Jimmy. Oh man, it was like Mike Tyson, right? Up against Evander Holyfield. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's all good, Jimmy. But that narrative that you're running on, sir, did not happen. Did not happen. And like I said, and for those that don't know, this is called right pen. Paste it, expose it, and post it, right? I got it, and this is one of my major fact checkers right here, though. So there it is, though. You know, you want to go ahead and invest in on that. It's $79 right now annually. Get it before the 1st because it's going to go up. Let me see here. Let me read what else is going on. Hold on for a minute. Darth Daddy said, OG says, yeah, Trump is good. Darth Daddy said, yeah, Trump is good. I mean, could I post that up in there? Yeah, Orange Man, good. He's good. Long Ball Thundercap says, so the southern states were liberal. Yes. The southern states, Long Ball Thunderclap. Yeah, they were very, very liberal. They were the one that had our people in chains, slavery and so forth, right? Let me see here. Texas, let me see here. I missed one here. Hold on for a minute. Jacob says, everything's coming through is godly. Look at, let me see here. Look at the UAE coming out of, what's that supposed to be, OPC? Who's down with the OPC? Let me see here. Scamala, okay, Texas Jane said, yeah, Scamala said she was Indian. Yep, Scamala, yep. Black Guy 9 says, Scamala, the collard green queen. Yeah, because she said she washed her collard greens in the bathtub. Oh, my goodness, man. I don't know anybody black that washes. I don't know anybody white that does that, let alone. I never heard anybody washing no collard greens in the bathtub, man. Ooh, boy, that's nasty. Ooh, you so nasty. Ooh, man. Get Scamala. Ooh. Scamala says Speeches comes with ranch. Yeah, hope it's ranch dressing. Let me see here. Texas James says, Black Guy 9, laughing emoji. Hold on, let me just go and post some of this stuff here. Hold on for a minute. I got to put some of this stuff up over here. Hold on for a minute. What am I doing, man? Come on, Tony, don't be lazy. Give everybody some recognition. Oh, there we go. That's better, Tony. Give somebody some more recognition. It's all good, man. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to put that up over here. Put that up over here. Man, it feels good that way where y'all get y'all posts acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to be acknowledged. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and get it on up there, Tony. There you go. Don't be shy. Don't be stingy. Right? Let me see here. Darth Daddy OG, if Trump is so good, then why is he a 34 count felon? Do we want to go? Hold on, Jimmy. Go on and get you again, Jimmy. Hold on for a minute. So, Jimmy, you're saying that Trump is a 34 count felon? Let's go and investigate that. I got to pull up my Joe Mama for the man, I know, right? I know Joe Mama, right? Hey, boy, I just like, Joe, hey, I got what? Hey, look at this here. Let's go and find out. Is Trump a 34 count felon? Right? What else did he say? Didn't he say something else about Trump? Oh, yeah, he said Trump was a rapist. I can't say the other word. Yeah, oops, I said, hold on for a minute. He said, yeah, hold on for a minute. Okay. Because this is what they said, but we're going to check it out. Fact check. Because if it was wrong, though, Joe Mama would say something, though, you know, just to let y'all know. You know? It says here that Trump is a convicted, right? Let me see here. Candidly liable. Let me see here. They changed the words. They didn't say the rapist or whatever because, you know, that didn't never happen. But what they left out, here it is. The 34 felony counts came from New York case critics widely panned it as politically motivated and brought by Soros-backed DA. Oh, man, District Attorney, the E. Jean Carroll verdict was a civil finding, not a criminal rape or grape conviction. The word rapist, I got to change the words, of course, for YouTube, is legally inaccurate. Trump appealed the New York verdict, and the legal battles are ongoing. Voters reelected Trump the presidency in 2024, despite or because of these proceedings, which speak of itself. Oh my goodness. Here it is right here. Here's what the Post. Calling Trump a rapist is legally wrong. The Carroll case was a civil, not a criminal, and the felon skips over a Soros, that means George Soros, backed DA and politicized Manhattan courtroom, right? Words matter. Coming from right pen. Sorry, though, Jimmy. He knocked you down again, sir. You don't have anything. And if anything, it was a civil matter, not a criminal matter. So you don't have anything. Nothing burger again. Sorry, man. Sorry. This is why we got to have a Joe Mama in the room. I just love saying that Joe Mama be on it. Oh, my goodness. But sorry, Jimmy, man. Thank you for participating. What do we have here for him, Bob? What's the prize? Well, we're going to go ahead and give Jimmy some paid education lessons in regards to what is a civil case, right? We're talking about civil versus a criminal, right? Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Texas Jane was a Black Guy 9. He laughed with Texas Jane. Oh, it's funny, though, boy. Step right on up to take on the challenge. Come step right up. You know, Jacob says, Gamala is fake and all for want to be president. No substance. You got that right. Mm, mm, mm. All right, give me a minute. Joe Mama says that wasn't meant to be posted up there. Oh, man, I know, right? Oh, my goodness, boy. Yeah, man. I mean, but like I said, it's always good for Jimmy playing along. I don't mind him in the room, though. I mean, you know, it's all good. Bobby Fisher says Gamala likes Italians, you know. Oh, yeah, Gamala. They always pronounce it with a G sounding, you know, the proper way how to say her name, Gamala. But we call her Scamala, you know. Jimmy it says to Black Guy 9, Trump could only wish to be as good as VP president. Now, Jimmy, you know, let me post it anyway. Hold on for a minute, Jimmy. Let me go and post this real quick. Now, Jimmy, you know dang on well, right, that Scamala, she really didn't debate Trump for real, right? I mean, she did, but she didn't. Because it had provisions set up for her, man. I remember watching that stuff, man. Boy, what's her name? Caitlyn. What's her girl's name? Sorority sister. The little earbug thing in her ear, being fed the questions. She didn't even want to show up on Joe Rogan, man. I think that was the one that really cost her the election, right? Because she didn't show up on Joe Rogan as well, too. Boy, I tell you. She was scared. Boy, I tell you, man. Boy, I tell you.
Thank you for the likes.
Glenn says Scamala was nothing until she got with Arsenio Hall. That's true. And got on TV when she started moving up. Yeah, that's true, because she had to get down. Let's look at downtown Willie Brown, downtown Willie Brown. Yeah, downtown Willie Brown, boy, I tell you. Longball Thunderclap says Trump likes Russians. You mean like him as in like him and Vladimir Putin have a good relationship? You know, we both sit on a nuclear capability, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Jimmy says that's all a lie. That's why does the Republican Party do so much political violence, 88%? Oh, man, do we got to go here again, Jimmy? Man, he's still, okay, well, Jimmy's a contestant. He's still playing today. Let's go in and check that out. I'm going to run that through and let's go in and run it through. We're going to run and check the facts, right? We're going to do the Joe Mama and check those facts, Jimmy. Just give me in one moment. He says the Republican Party, right, do so much political violence. Let's take a look at that, right? I'm game if you are. Let's see here. Does the Republican Party, does the, Republican, right? So the Republican, right? All right, here it is. Party. Let's see here. Let me see what I'm going to say what he said now. Hold on for a minute. Republican Party, let me see, let's say it creates, right, a lot of the, is that political violence? Okay, he said political, right? Okay. Political, wait a minute. Hold on for a minute. Political violence. Oops. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and find that out. Survey says, let's see if Jimmy is right about this one here. It's not true, but we're going to pull it up anyway. Does the Republican Party is responsible, thank you, is responsible for the rare incidents? It changed it from political violence. It's, yeah, because again, you know, it does a very good job. What they left out is the question itself is loaded premises with no factual basis proven to support or imply claim. Political violence have been documented across the political spectrum, including Antifa riots, BLM-related destruction. I know he wouldn't believe me if I even said this, and I know this, but we were just running through the, to the fact check. And attempt assassination of Republican congressmen at the baseball practice. The question structure is designed to plant assumption as fact before an answer is given. No equivalent questions about Democrat-aligned violence is posed alongside it. Oh my goodness. Look at this. A loaded question with a baked-in smear to the premise assumes that the conclusion before a single fact is cited. That is not journalism, that is activism. Oh my goodness, look at that here. Coming from Right Pen AI. Oh my goodness. Sorry, Jimmy. Thank you for participating. But once again, you are wrong, sir. I just wanted to pull this up to show Jimmy the error of his ways, though. You know, what did Jimmy get? Let me see here. Let me take a look here. Does Jimmy get a prize? You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah, good day, sir. Thank you for trying 3 things. He gave you 3 strikes. Did I give him two chances? Yeah, so he was wrong. Yeah, those 3 chances right there. Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry, but thanks for participating, though. You know, I appreciate it. Texas James says, oh, my goodness. Black guy now guy says, too late, Jimmy. boy. But thank you for participating. Texas James says, Jimmy, most of the U.S. disagrees with you, which is absolutely true. Let's say 77 million plus who voted for Trump. That's why Kamala did not win. Jimmy says, Glenn Lowry, related to Mike Lowry. VP Harris has accomplished more in her life than Trump could have. Oh my gosh, Jimmy. Jimmy, oh my goodness, Jimmy, stop it. Jimmy Mac, when are you coming back? Oh, come on, Jimmy, man. Don't make me do this again. Now, you know dang on well that Kamala Harris did not accomplish more than Trump. You know Trump has a legacy, right? He expanded his father's empire. He made it into an empire, actually. We talk about the golf courses, resorts, hotels all over the world, right? I mean, luxurious, right? I mean, you know, about over 95% of his businesses are successful, man, let alone this country. Oh, my goodness. Jimmy, stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. Jimmy, don't do it no more. I'm just going to let Jimmy just fold in the towel because it's all too easy. All too easy. Jimmy says, you want to clown on me? Oh, my gosh. Yet you look like a clown. Here we go now. I know, Jimmy, am I making you look bad? Jimmy, I'm not making you look bad. You're making yourself look bad, sir. I'm not. How can I make you look bad? Everything you've been saying has not been true. I ran it through the AI fact check, and it says you were wrong, you know? You wouldn't believe me if I would have said it. So I said it. That's just so people that don't believe, you know, I go ahead and run it through the fact check, right? Sorry, though, Jimmy. Thank you for participating, you know. Oh, my goodness, though, you know, clowning you. You clowning yourself, Jimmy. I mean, I'm just saying, though, you know. Look at him laughing, Jimmy. Stop while you're ahead, Jimmy. Stop. You way over your head. Stop. Just stop it, man. Stop it. Glenn says, hey, Jimmy, this is for you, buddy. LOL. Donald Trump is the best president you guys have ever seen in your lifetime, which is true. I agree with you, Glenn. So far, hopefully, excuse me, we'll get one of those. One is good for good or better. I'm going to post that too. That's a very good actual statement. And facts as well, too. That's a fact as well. Yeah, let me see here. Boy, I tell you. Let me see here. Glenn is just laughing. We're going to put that down here as well, too. There we go. Jimmy says, as of March to 2026, the unemployment rate. Jimmy, are you going to still do this, Jimmy? You got to quit while you're ahead, Jimmy. Come on now. You are embarrassing yourself, sir. But I'm going to read it anyway, this foolishness. As March to 26, unemployment rate for blacks or African Americans in the U.S. is 7.1%, while the overall national unemployment rate is 4.3%, right? The rate for blacks workers remain significant. Well, here's the thing, though, Jimmy. You've been wrong about Trump. You've been wrong about how the housing thing and all the rest of that stuff. At this point, I gave you 3 chances. At this point, why should I even attempt to run it through the fact check? You've been wrong on 3 counts so far, man. I would stop while I'm ahead if it would be me, right? And it's not even worth to keep going on with this foolishness, right? It's like you're throwing something, hopefully that it would stick. You never thought that I have a fact checker to check what you have just said, sir. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even worth even dealing with this foolishness at this point. You ain't going to believe it. See, what the Dems do when I get him back up to the wall when he knows that's not true, then he just keep moving the goalposts. You know what I'm saying? when does it ever end? You know what I'm saying? Bobby Fischer says, Scamala dated 80-year-old men. That would be downtown Willie Brown. Thanks to Willie Brown, she got a career. Thanks to Willie Brown, she in the position that she in now. Oh, Willie Brown is a married man. Oh, my goodness, man. What the? Oh, my goodness. When she was 29, everyone knows, right? What about the how she done locked up the black men? 1,500 counts, right? Fellas for frivolous marijuana charges, though, Jimmy. What about that? You know, she rolled out with the DEA and all this other stuff, out the night rides. She's the one that put the with the curfew on and all the rest of that stuff, locking up parents and all the rest of that stuff. She did a lot of stuff. So-called being a black woman, which she's not. She's not even a black woman. That's just some BS. I never claim her as a black woman because she's not. Black Guy 9 says Scamala finished her Apple clown bot. Oh, yeah, I know. We about to get there, though, Black Guy 9. Y'all already know I'm about to do the Democratic clown show in a minute, right? Because it's about to go down, though, man. Boy, let him cook. Let him cook. I'm just over here. Let Tony cook. I'm going to just let him cook. Boy, I tell you, man, let him cook. Let him cook. Boy, let him cook. Yeah. Yeah, just give me a little time and I get over here and get to cooking. Black Guy 9 says, black folks better go to work. Oh, my goodness. Boy, I tell you, man. Texas Jane, oh, yeah. He says, Jimmy is crying again. Oh, Jimmy. Hold on. Hold on for a minute, Jimmy. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, Jimmy. Come here, Jimmy. You need a hug. Okay, Jimmy, come here. Oh, the baby upset, Jimmy. Baby upset. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry to embarrass you like that in front of all these people. I'm sorry to do this before strangers, you know. We get you some McDonald's afterwards, though, Jimmy. We get you some McDonald's. Oh, Jimmy, come here, Jimmy. Oh, you get the tears out your eyes. Come here now. Come here, Jimmy. It's all good, though. All right, we're going to get you your bottle in a minute. Just on the stove trying to heat it up a little bit. It's okay, Jimmy. It's okay. You're going to be all right, Jimmy. Jimmy. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh, boy. Texas Jay. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, man. Let me see here. Golden Wing Spirit says, Americans are being duped. This is what she's saying here. Are you native as well? I'm native. Are you native as well? Yep. Let me see here. Glenn Lowry says, in the inner cities, a lot of black young youth don't work, but you're right. They need to need to get on the ball and get a job. That's what, as he say, get on the ball and get that job. Long Ball Thundercap says he was convicted, but it was a civil, not a criminal case. There's a big difference between civil, Long Ball Thunderclap, and convicted. Who's convicted? Well, it was with Trump, right? But it was a civil matter, not a criminal matter. Jimmy says, Texas Jane, I'm crying. I'm asking, Jimmy says, I'm asking you guys legitimate questions, right? How can you vote for a 34 count? See, that's what I'm saying, though, Jimmy. You keep asking the same question. The reason why we voted for Trump, because what you trying to imply that it was a criminal matter. I just AI fact checked you on this. It's not a criminal matter, sir. Can't you get it through your head, Jimmy? Right? Can't you get it through your head? Oh my goodness. It's baseless and biased, Jimmy. Do you know what basis is? Baseless, and it's also biased, right? Oh my goodness, Jimmy. Do you know who George Soros is, Jimmy? George Soros bought the AG, right? He bought her, right? Come on now. Oh my goodness, Jimmy. All right, let me see here. Oh man, Black Guy 9 says Jimmy didn't. Okay, did you get your meal on wheels today? Yeah, more like a bottle, baby bottle. USA Incorporated is an absolute disgrace of the rest of the world. World King Charles and his United Nations agenda. Goldwing, are you native? And are you American? That's why I'm asking you the question there. Jimmy says, he is still, literally a 34 count felon. He's not a felon. It's a civil matter, not a criminal matter, right? I mean, where can you go with a civil matter? I mean, really, what did Trump really do? You know what I'm saying? No, you can't answer this. Is like Texas Jane said, it's TDS at this point. Let it go. They don't even talk about that no more. That's only Trump derangement syndrome people bring that up. You got to let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. I got to change the words, though. You know, Elsa, you know. Oh, man. You got to let it go, man. Lone Wolf and Cub, man. You know, I love that samurai, what's that, Shogun Assassin. I love that movie. Of the 21 Democrat senators who oppose the civil rights, only one became a Republican. The other 28 became elected as Democrats or were replaced by the Democrats. So let me see. Let me go and post this too. This is what Lone Wolf. I remember you before Lone Wolf and Cub. Mm-hmm. You always liked that name too. Yep. And he's right, because they did oppose the civil rights. Which one? I think that was that the 64 civil rights bill? It was one of them, I think it was, that they opposed. I think it was the 1964 civil rights bill. It was one of those, I do believe, you know. Jimmy says, yes. And the early 2026, Donald Trump remains a convicted. So Jimmy, you just going to keep going with that narrative. You know, I'm really concerned, Jimmy, because you got the TDS going on, man. It's not looking good, Jimmy. You got to let it go, man. Let it go, man. Nobody talks about that no more, right? Come on, Jimmy, you got to let it go, right? We can get you the help that you need, you know? Oh, Jimmy, man. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy. Oh, no. All right, let's go and get Jimmy his bottle, though. He got Trump derangement syndrome, y'all. I gotta go and take him to the hospital, man. Come on, Jimmy. Come on. Where's my bottle bag? Where's the bag for the bottles and the diapers and everything? Come on, Jimmy. We're gonna go down to the hospital, man. Yeah, come on now. It's okay, Jimmy. Damn, Jimmy. Dang, boy. Boy, it's all good though, Jimmy. We're gonna get the help that you deserve, man. We're gonna get over this together. Me and you, Jimmy. We're gonna get over this this TDS stuff, man. Glenn Glenn says 34 convicted non-felon, LOL. Still the president, still a effing millionaire. You got 2.5 more years of this guy. What are you going to do, buddy? LOL. And this is coming from Glenn. Because, I mean, we're going to get over, what we're going to do, criticize every Trump's move, or we're going to move on with our lives, man? He's only in there for 2 more years, dude. Come on, Jimmy. Oh, man. Jimmy says, Trump. Go on and put that up there. Texas Jade says, Jimmy, yes, it was your script. Is your script old? Yeah, we got to go down there and get that script, though, Texas Jade, man. Let me see. Black Guy 9 says, Jimmy Obamacare expired. Yeah, it sure did. We got to get rid of that thing, man. That man, Black Guy 9, you know that Obamacare, he put mandates on the people. You were forced to have to use Obamacare. And if you didn't do it, like me, he was going to penalize you $400 a year, man, went on your taxes. They're going to get that money out you one way or the other. Boy, I remember all that stuff, man. Had to get rid of Obamacare, man. Plus, Obama got, what did he get the kickbacks off of Obamacare? I think it was $250 million. Glenn says, Trump is the best president, you guys, right? It's true. Guys have ever seen in your lifetime. Like I said, and Glenn is 100% correct because we rock with Trump. I wear the cap. We all know his policies. And even when people come in here trying to put up this false claim stuff, because we're going to fact check it here, right? So I'll be very careful what you say. Jimmy says, Texas, then answer the effing question. Why you got to be so crude and rude, though, Jimmy? You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Why you got to be so harsh? This is Texas Jane, man. Dang. Goldwing says of the Spirit Orb, it's all trickery and deception. Americans are under a strange delusion. They won't wake up because the enemy has put them in a sleep. They're in a state of consciousness resembling sleep, like movies they live. Oh, man, boy, I tell you. What is this, Star Wars? What is this? What is this? It was this Emperor Palpatine. You know, wait, I'm going to get it right. Hold on for a minute. Give me a minute. You know I do voiceover. Let me do it right. Yeah, the young ones, you know, it seems that the dark side clouds everything. Ooh, the dark side. Let me ponder on this. Yoda will understand. Yeah, the dark side clouds everything. Ah, man, come on now. Goldwing, what is this? What's this, Star Wars? Lou Hawk in the house, though. Lou Hawk, he always shows up. Why do they hate Trump? I'm going to tell you why they hate Trump so much, man. Because they are all, I mean, just reverse this thing on because I know she said it, Goldwing. What she meant to say is that the people that rock with the left, they are under a delusion, right? They have been like some type of mystic delusion thing that clouds their judgment. It clouds their judgment. The people on the left do not understand who Trump really is. Let me ponder now. Come on, the younglings. That's why, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is, though, because when you got Trump derangement syndrome, everything that Trump does, whether, you know, and for the most part of it, he ran a perfect campaign. He got over 77 million votes. He not only did that, but he won the popular vote. He won the electoral vote, and he also won in 7 swing states, man. This was unheard of. Come on now. And then they want to still sit up here and talk bad about this man. It just really show how bad those people really are, man. It's sad, though, you know. They won't even give him the credit on that. Sad.
Thank you for the likes.
Black Guy 9 says, Jimmy, who's the Democrats' leader? Oh, my goodness. We all know this one. I'm not even a Democrat and know this, right? Jimmy, let me see. Jimmy says, Glenn, Trump's literally goes down as the worst president in the bottom 4th, right? Look it up. What the Jimmy? Jimmy, you've been wrong so far on 3 counts, man. Anything you saying at this point has no credibility whatsoever, man. You were wrong about the 34 count felon thing. You were wrong about Trump denying it wasn't Trump, right? We already cleared that up. And plus, it was settled out of court, man. So, and you said that he was a rapist. You said that he was a racist. All of it is not true, though, Jimmy. It's just not true. Texas Jade says, Lou, because they are paid to hate Trump. And that's true, too. Boy, they're paid to hate Trump. Yep. That's what Texas Jane says. Lou, I was gonna say Lou Hawk been in the room many a times. I remember some of the names though, you know. Let me see here. Golden Wing of the Spiritual Cloud says, the USA Incorporated is an embarrassment to the rest of the world. The big bully of the world, unfortunately, sad. It is. Yeah. Let me do it right there. Hold on for a minute. Ooh, the U.S. Incorporated, an embarrassment to the rest of the world. The big bully of the world, unfortunately, sad. It is. Had to do Yoda, everybody. I'm sorry, though. Gold Wing. I got to clown you a little bit, you know. You sound so mystical. Where my mystical harp at? There you go. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, Jimmy says, look it up. Look up Trump literally was sued in the 70s. I just proved it to you, Jimmy. God, stop it, Jimmy. I'm getting concerned about you, man. I really am. Everybody saw the fact check. He did not get sued. It got settled out of court. That means they came to a resolution, and it was his company, not him. Right? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my gosh. We got Paul in the house, another retard, thinks he's smarter than history. Oh, my goodness. I don't think. I know. Oh, man. Step right up. Go ahead, Paul. Step right on up. No, you know what I'm saying? You know, oh, man. Fatality victory, you know? Oh, my goodness, man. What is this? Mortal Kombat? Another retard think he's as smarter in history. Oh, my goodness, though, you know. I appreciate that, Paul. I take that as a compliment. In fact, let me go on and post it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness, boy. We got Gord in the house. Gord says most countries have travel advisories, right, or advisories. War. Black Guy 9 says, I'm waiting, Jimmy. That's what Black Guy 9 is saying to you. Glenn says, God, I wish we could bring Ronald Reagan's mother. Let me see here. Let's do it right here. Let me see here. Let me see. God, I wish we can bring, let me see. He said, God, I wish we can bring back Ronald. And I got to use my censor button. All right. He was the GOAT. Okay, had to do my censorship. I got a censorship button too. Jimmy says, yes, in 1973, the Department of Justice, DOJ, sued Trump, right? And sued his father, right? Trump management. You just heard me read, Jimmy, and what you're saying is not true, Jimmy. You are not better than AI. You're not that smart, right? You're not. Stop it. Stop it now, Jimmy. It's not true. Goldwing says, stuffed, ignorant dumbasses. Now, Goldwing, I can clown you too, though, I don't mind being called a dumbass, but you ain't saying anything but this mystical cloud utopia stuff, what are you really saying, though, man? We in the real world. This ain't no utopia thing, though. We got a real president. You're not even American anyway. Why should you even matter, though? You even lucky to be in this, let alone allowing you to even talk. I don't even allow people to talk about if you ain't American. We the best. We the best. We number one again. And ain't a damn thing you gonna be able to do about it too, But what you could, whatever country you from, you better pay that money back to these American people. We done carried your ass ever since World War II, damn it. And we want some get back, right? That's what you better do. Write that check, right? Write that check. And then Lou Hawk says, do you think they hate Trump? It's not everybody. It's just certain people, man. Like small minority groups. And a lot of it's just push propaganda, you know what I'm saying, to keep it real. But it's not like that for real. Joe Mama, oh, man, you done got Joe Mama activated, man. Uh-oh. And Joe Mama really don't say too much, man. Joe Mama says, Jimmy, you made the claim, you posted the evidence, or shut the up, right? Shut the right? I mean, that's basically what Joe Mama said, right? So you got to put up the claim. I put mine up, and with AI, it never misses. Put your claim up, Jimmy. I don't want to hear no more about this talk. Put your claim up. Bud Russell says Democrats are the party of the KKK. You are absolutely correct about that, though. I must agree with you, though, Bud Russell. You know what I'm saying? Yep. The party of the Ku Klux Klan, right? Oh, man. The SPLC, oh, my goodness. Yep, you're right about that, man. Bud Russell says Democrats are the party of slavery. They sure are, man. Let's go and put these facts back up here, too. Gord says most countries have travel advisories against going to the U.S. Brilliant. Work by Trump. Yeah, travel advisories because we don't want everybody traveling over here because the likelihood of them not coming back, right, which has happened, you know what I'm saying, because they checking everything, right? But it's not that bad over here in America, though. It's actually gotten a lot better. On the Gord, to be honest, though. It's gotten a lot better. Let me see here. What golden feather has to say? Stop hating on each other and love one another, Oh, yeah. Let me do it right because she's on her spiritual plane, Let me see here. Stop hating on each other and love one another. When you hate on everyone, you're doing it directly to God, the creator of Father in truth. Stop doing that. Wake up. I got to do it. Stat. I mean, I had to do it, though, because when I see you, that's what you remind me of, It's like, Jimmy said, Joe Mama, I put the proof up, idiot. No, you didn't. You didn't put the proof up. I gave more proof to you, Jimmy, than what you gave to me. You should be able to counter what AI said. Well, I even fact-checked it. That's why I didn't want to mention it. I said they may have to see the source. I showed you my source. You know what I'm saying? You're making this stuff up. Put up or shut up. Put it up. You just can't put a statement out and say that's it. That's what Joe Mama is saying. You got to put up the facts like I showed you, right? I gave you various sources of what was going on. None of it is true. Felon is not, right? Oh, my God. You're repeating propaganda, which is dangerous. Come on now, Jimmy. Wake up, man. Now, it was all fun, man, but it's kind of getting annoying now. Let me see here. Pete says, what do you think about Homeland Security using white supremacy, right, imagery, and propaganda? Homeland Security, are you talking about then or are you talking about now, right? Because I never really heard anything about white supremacy imagery and propaganda with Homeland Security. You talking about ICE and all that stuff? I never heard of that. They out there doing the job. The men and women of ICE, they diligently out here working, getting illegal aliens out of the country. They make it sound like they're rolling up on citizens, man. Beating them down with a nightclub, though. No, they just been taking them, getting them together and getting them out of our country because they don't belong here, right? This was a failed administration that allowed them to come here in the first place. All we're doing is correcting from the previous failed administration, which is Biden, but basement Obama. That's what we're talking about, you know. Bud Russell says Biden brought against desegregation. Bud Russell said he said fought against desegregation. I'm sorry, bought. Biden fought against desegregation, right? If you believe that though, Bud Russell, you know what I'm saying? So he said, or whatever. But he didn't let his children go to school. He said he would not let his children go to a concrete jungle or whatever, something like that. And things. We can pull up the exact quote. But Biden was a racist. He never liked the black people. If you go back in the 70s, in the 80s, you pull up when Biden was Joe Biden back then, when he had his cognitive memory. He was going in on blacks, calling them all kind of N-words and everything, man. You can pull it up. I pulled it up myself. Texas Jane says, Jimmy, what was your proof? Jimmy, they calling you out. Gore says, Tony. Source is, what's it? Conservatipedia. No, it's AI. I revealed the source. It's called Right Pen. The resource is right there. This is not Conservatipedia, though, but I know what you're trying to do, Gore. At least I got a source, though. You just have propaganda. You know what I'm saying? P says, pretty sure they were apartments. Weren't they? Yeah, apartments. It was an apartment, supposed to be a slumlord. They try to paint that stuff. You know, it was a lot of slumlords in New York. I'm not going to take that away. But they settled out of court. Joe Mama says, Jimmy, did I call you a name? You know, PHUG. Yeah, that's true, though, because you called Joe Mama a name. Joe Mama didn't call you a name, though, Jimmy, because you getting triggered and getting in your feelings. And he got a good point. Yeah, they be calling me names, as you know. You know? I mean, you know, we just saying cite the source. Don't get mad because you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Glenn says, Homeland Security do not use white supremacy. That's what I'm telling them. This is too much propaganda. They done their, oh my goodness, hold on. They done that. Yeah, so that's what they did. Let's see. What you mean, let's see? They are doing their job. ICE have always been, right? We talk about immigration, right? So this is what they're doing. So ICE, right? They're doing their job. They are basically part of government, and they're the police at the same time, right? That border security. When have we ever saw that at some right? Man, you're getting too much propaganda. So if you're gonna say that, you might as well say the whole damn police is same thing, white supremacy. I don't think so. Blacks and other people would not join a white supremacy group, calling it ICE, right? Jimmy says Trump was sued 1970, 73, 74, 34 count, you know, it's 34, not letting black families move into, yeah, you just gonna keep, Jimmy gonna die on that hill, man. We done already cited out what really happened, Jimmy. Plus you haven't cited no sources. You just yapping. Gore says Trump's not renting to blacks. It's a matter of court records. Where is the court records, though? That's what we said. It was already settled out. What you talking about? What are you talking about? And it wasn't Trump. It was his company. Didn't I just read that? It was something to do with Trump's company, not Trump personally. It was the company. That's like saying Jimmy or Gord. It's just like saying, okay, you bought a, called a leasing management company to oversee your property and your tenants, right? But if your tenants is doing something stupid, right? I mean, that don't have no reflection on Trump. Plus, Trump said, let me go in and correct it. What we'll do is that when we come to court, we'll just pay it out. We don't even have to go there. It was actually settled already out of court. It was an out of court settlement. Everybody got paid, right? That's what it is. And that's what both of you refuse to look at. You can't be this damn dunce. I know you have Trump derangement syndrome and you want Trump to be a racist so bad. But what's happening is that you're not even looking at straight logic and common sense anymore. You're trying to paint a narrative that is not working for you too. It makes you look really dumb and stupid, to be honest. You just got to let it go. Lou Hawk says, Trump, you're a guy because you got an extra few dollars. Is that it? No, it don't have anything to do with it. I voted for Trump because Trump was the better candidate. Plus, Trump has policies that work better for America. 77 million plus says so. This is why Kamala didn't get in office anyway. Kamala can show you anything. She was even at the border, supposed to be the border czar. I'm waiting till I'm president and I do something about the border. This is how ridiculous the left policies were. They didn't have any. And what do? If they have a policy, they get in there and then they change it. And then they blame it on who? Trump. So that's not, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's not what it is, Lou Hawk. Lou Hawk Art, yep. Black Guy 9 says, damn, Joe Mama. Yeah, don't come for Joe Mama, though. You know he's a mod, too, right? He can really boot you right on out of here. He's just being, he's trying to let you know, like I'm trying to let you know, right? We asked you a question. Prove the facts. You and Gord, put up your facts like I did. Surely you will have that information, right? Come on now. That's all we're saying. Glenn says, just think about this guy. If you think that Trump is a dictator, you wouldn't be allowed to say what you are saying now. He is not a dictator. We live in a better country and can get better. It's absolutely correct. And I got to post that, Glenn. You're 100% right. They don't even know what a dictator is. Let me show them what a dictator looks like. Because I see I got to take some people back to school here. Hold on for a minute. It's just going to be a minute. Give me one moment. Let me show Gord and the other guy here. Hold on for a minute. Jimmy. Whoops. I shrunk that too small, didn't I? Hold on for a minute. Give me one moment. All right, this is what we're going to do here. I got something here. We'll keep that page up. Keep that window up. Hold on for a minute. I got you covered. I'm going to show these guys what a dictator looks like. Everybody should know what he looked like, right? That's Kim Jong-un. You want to know what a dictator really looks like? I guarantee if both of you guys, if I were to arrest you both and deport you over here to North Korea, where they have a labor camp prison, where survival is minimum to none, right? You say if you were in North Korea right now, what you're saying right now, you would not be able to say anything against this man right here, Kim Jong-un. Because Kim Jong-un will show you what real pain and suffering truly is. A dictator would not, you able to get online and say what you want. They would have had the feds coming to the door, tearing down your door. You would be arrested, both of you, right? You would be beat into submission, or maybe shot in the head, in the back of the head, or maybe fed to the lions. And we know that this actually goes down in North Korea. Maybe I should keep this up for a little bit, because these two guys, you've been in my room, you already have lost the debate. You don't have any information, because if you did, you would have put it up. And then I got to school you on what a dictator is too. Come on, guys, you're losing. So far, you ain't got no wins. You got losses. You've been walking around with L's, both of you. This is what a dictator looks like. Dictator don't give any type of freedom of speech. Shit, over here, you even allowed to have a gun, not over there. Yeah, are we going to really do this, though? Are we going to have this childhood education on what a dictator looks like and what a dictator is? And this is for the rest of you, right? Just look very closely. I can pull up others, but I like Kim Jong-un because he's the epitome of what a dictator is. This is not what you want. You don't want to be over here. Any of you, Lou Hawk, none of y'all, you don't want to be over there in North Korea. He's going to show you what true pain and suffering truly is. So knock it off. Knock this stuff off. You lucky that you even allowed to say what you can say right now. Trump ain't one time come up over here and want to kick the doors in. But we know a president or ex-president that loves censorship, and that's Obama. Look at this dude right here. You want to talk about a dictator. Kim Jong-un. All right, there we go. Boy, I got to pull up. Boy, let me see here. Glenn says, just think about this guy. If you think that Trump is a dictator, then you wouldn't be allowed to say what I said this already. Yep, I did. Jimmy says, yes, in 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice sued Trump, right? Oh, my gosh, man. Black guy Jaline is just laughing, man. Boy, when would it stop, man? Woo, when would it stop? When would it stop, man? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Jimmy, hold on for a minute. Oh, my gosh. Had to copy and paste the whole thing, Jimmy. Oh, my goodness, Jimmy. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Hold on for a minute. Jimmy. This is exactly what Jimmy typed in here. Because see, this ain't going to go away. Survey says, all right, let's go ahead and do it here. Oh, boy, Jimmy. You promise to stop this nonsense once I pull this thing up? Or do you promise, Jimmy, to stop this nonsense? Right? We're not saying that this did not happen, sir. Damn. But here it is. What they left out. The article omits that Trump and his father deny all discrimination charges. And when the case was settled in 1975 with no admission or guilt, right? The settlement requires no finding, no wrongdoing. Only the company follow fair housing practices going forward. Man, damn. Do we have to go further? No, we're not going any further with this BS stuff. If he says it again, get it. Now, Jimmy, now, you testing my patience now. It was cute in the beginning. But, sir, I cited you. You're wrong. Damn, you're wrong. Damn. Boy, what the hell, man? Wow.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Yeah, good day, sir. Man, Bud Russell, Biden said that he didn't want his kids to go to a school in the urban jungle. That's exactly what he said. I knew it had something like that. Yep, that is correct. We got Mud Butter in here, Texas. You're a mod here. We got I remember Mud Butter before coming in here. Lone Wolf and Cub says Homeland Security is using white supremacy imagery. Democrats are voting for a candidate which with a Nazi tattoo on his body. Who is the person with the Nazi tattoo on his body? Are you talking about Matt Gaetz? Is it Matt Gaetz? He's not even in it. I'm just curious. Who is it? Texas J. Oh my goodness, boy! I tell you, what the doing? Okay, does this matter? If it was a civil matter or criminal matter, you just sounding dumb. I just read to you what it is, Jimmy. Because if it had something, then they would have got him. They don't have nothing on them, Jimmy. Wake up, McFly. Damn. Boy. Bud Russell says the DNC funded KKK. You're absolutely correct. Texas Jane just laughs. No one could be this damn stupid. Glenn says people on the other countries can't get on iPod. Yeah, can't get an iPod case like this and say what they want. They would be killed or saying this ish, right? We say on here, you're absolutely right. They don't even, Glenn, you know and I know, they don't even understand what real dictatorship truly is, right? Man, they have all kind of stuff, man. You can't even use a, one of those things, whatever, to match your IP address. You can't even use any of those things, man. Man, I tell you, man. Wow. Boy, I tell you, man, ain't nobody this day. He said, Gord says, laughing my ass off. Tony supporting not renting to blacks, man. You know damn well they didn't say that, Gord, and you a liar, sir. You know damn well that I didn't read nothing about that. It was settled out of court. It didn't have nothing to do with anything but anything, man. Boy, I tell you, man, you best stop it now. Bud Russell says Democrats are racist. Yeah, you right about that. You right about that. But it said Mud Butter says, Jimmy, these people defend the elites who, oh my good, Mud Butter, boy, I tell you, look at this, have 1,900 lawsuits against them. It's not going to stick because they all unconstitutional, sir. They don't have anything, Mud Butter. He's a president, and he gets immunity anyway. They're going to throw this stuff out. Y'all make it sound like President Trump kicked in your door, pulled you out of your house, pulled your clothes off, and beat the living hell out of you. You know damn well that didn't happen. You know? All of this stuff is speculatory crap, and it won't stick. Let me ask you, Jimmy, Mud Butter, and who's the other one? Gord. I got a question for all three of you guys, Lou Hawk too, and that other spiritual woman, right? The one that come in here on Cloud 9 and stuff, right? I got a question for all you three, right? Or four. I think it's four, right? Got a question for all of you. If it's so damn bad here in America, right? Why do you live here under a dictator that's going to threaten to kick in your door and pull you out and beat the living hell out of you? Why do you want to be here in America? Doesn't make any sense to me. You should be wanting to move like the rest of them, right? If this is going to happen, why are you here, sir? That's my question to you. I've answered your questions. Now you answer mine, right? Why are you here? That's the question. All right, yeah, Texas Jane is laughing. Oh, my goodness, boy. I tell you, man. Gord, here we go with this nonsense again. See the stupidity? TDS. Here's the stupidity coming from Gord. He knows he's just doing it just to get my blood pressure up. That's why he got the laughing emoji face. I don't really see Gord. I don't even take Gord serious, though, to be honest. But Jimmy, on the other hand, I don't see no laughing emoji face at all. Right? Oh my goodness. Democrats have has no leadership. They really don't, though, Black Guy 9. They really don't. Here's the same old thing right here. Here's what Jimmy says. Yes, in 1973, the U.S. Department of Justice, the DOJ, sued Trump and his father, right? But it was also settled out of court because of some type of dispute or whatever it was, but it was settled out of court, right? It was settled out of court. Fair Housing Act. I'm familiar with the Fair Housing Act of 1968, right? Which is the introduction into the projects. Jimmy, because the people took the payoff, are you that naive? What you mean? They got paid. What the hell are you talking about? He didn't even have to pay him because it wasn't nothing there. There wasn't no thing about them being discriminated against. Did you hear me one time read that it was? It wasn't. Did you just hear what I just read? Do I have to go back and read it again? Right? Do I have to go back and read it again? Right? The article represented in 1973 lawsuit is if it was proven verdict. They didn't even prove that this happened, sir. The case was settled in 75 with no admissions of guilt, right? Or no findings of wrongdoings. I just read this. Trump was 27 years old at the time, not the primary operator of the business. Thousands of similar fair housing suits were filed nationwide during the same period. A lawsuit is not conviction. Sir, are you serious, Jimmy? Right? So every time Jimmy posts that, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to post this. You are no match for AI. Sorry. Put that right up in there. Read it and understand what that says. I know you have Trump derangement syndrome, but it's not going to work in this room because you haven't proven nothing. Yeah, because it's my channel and I can scream if I want to. Primal, you ain't got to be in here if you don't like me screaming, sir or ma'am. I can scream if I want to. Because I'm dealing with an idiot. That's what makes me scream, right? I got to keep telling this guy over and over and over again. This is nonsense. This is crap. Yeah, that's the problem. If they don't read it, damn it. If they don't read it, and that's the thing about. Welcome back to the streaming here, Agnes. I remember you coming in here as well. That's the whole point. It's just as bad with where's the Epstein stuff? Where is it? Right? They won't read it anyway. You're true. It says you're absolutely correct. They will not do it. People with the cognitive dissonance, right, cannot be proven wrong with their own stupid decision-making paradigms. You're 100% correct, Agnes. Yep. I just posted up in the room, though, just because he's just putting up a whole bunch of nonsense because he has Trump derangement syndrome and he just doesn't want to admit it. That's the thing about it. I know I've been dealing with Trump derangement people. They see the world with Trump totally different. They make up stuff, make up lies, and I just shut it down. Right? He just keep doing it. He refused to read it, let alone reading for understanding. This is crap. This is the whole thing about it. Yeah. Yeah. One thing about it, this Oreo can kick a motherfucker's ass, right? When it come down to the debate. How you like them? How you like that, Christopher? You know, a few F-bombs may drop every now and then, not that often. And I apologize, you know. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man, just admit it. You don't have anything. You know, you refuted nothing. What did you refute? What did you do, Primal? You're just coming in the room and talking ish. We're going to tell low intelligent people, because you notice they never say anything but criticize. Now it's about time for me to start getting on your case. Let me start roasting you now. You want like that? It sounds like you want my attention. What do you got? What do you got, Primal? I'm talking to you. What do you got? Joe Mama says, good night, Tony and mods. I got cows to feed. Yeah, you got those A2 cows, man. That is what's up. Yep, those A2 cows. I still haven't heard from, our friend that we haven't spoke to in so long. Oh, man. Boy, she be doing the ninja watching thing, man. Oh, man. Shoot, it's been so long. What is her name? Sherry, that's it. I haven't heard from Sherry in a while, man. Anybody seen Sherry, Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we got another one here. Got another mod in the house. That's what's up. Boy, I'm mod tight tonight. Boy, I tell you. Yeah, got another mod. Now, give him the smoke, Tony. I know, Randy. Oh, yeah, I love giving him the smoke, man. Coming up in here with this TDS stuff and all this other type of stuff, Boy, Hey, Lone Wolf and Cub, you're saying that the Democrats are going to do it in 2000, let me see it. He said the Democrats in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. Yeah, we know they cheated, but that's when they always cheat. Let me see here. Space Knocker, Trump, not a dictator. He's very mild and ripping money from us. Ripping money from us? What the? Ripping money while ripping us off. Failed farmers. Uh-oh. Joe Mama is a farmer. I got a farmer. I got farmers that rock with me in here. Y'all look at what he did for the farmers. He got things for the farmers, the Farmers Act. If anything, Trump has been helping the farmers. Do you realize that a lot of the farmers across the United States have actually voted for Trump? Because Trump policies of helping the American farmer goes with America first. So Space Knocker, man, and I can fact check you too. If you don't like my answers, I can pull it up. Don't make me do you like I did Jimmy, though, Space Knocker. You don't want that smoke. Don't do it. Stand down before you make that false claim, sir. Stand down, right? Stand down, soldiers, stand down. Agnes says Trump also promised to bomb the ish out of Iran on the campaign trail. But did he bomb? Yeah, he bombed the ish out of the supreme leaders. Yep, the IRGS, I think that's pronounced. Lone Wolf and Cub says Democrats in 2024. Trump is the president. Where are the DA? What's the damn Epstein files and things like that? You got to talk to Trump with that one. And they already presented some stuff anyway, But, what I'm saying, in regards to that, I can pull that much information up about that. But it ain't going to. See, the thing about it, I can either say it to these people or I can show it. But when you have TDS, they just going to keep on. It ain't even worth it. Agnes says, which he has fulfilled. If it wasn't for Trump, Trump signed off on the Epstein files, sir. He signed off on it, released it out. The files out there. It was when the Dems got a hold of it, then when they in there changing the ish around and all kind of stuff. So there was some things that was redacted. You got to talk to the Democrat Party on that one, sir. You got to deal with them. All I know is Trump signed off on it. That's all I know. That's all I know. Let me see here. Trump did a lot for the farmers. Facts. It's absolutely correct. They just up in here just talking, man. I ain't going to even pull up and even have to fact check that, man, because it's pointless. They ain't going to believe it anyway. That's why I got to send Jimmy and them running up on out the room. Right? Boy, it's sad, man. Sad. But other than that, guys, I got to get out here and get to work. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the participation today. It's been fun, boy, having a great Joe Mama in here, man. Not Joe Mama, but Joe Mama, man. I appreciate talking to you, Joe Mama. I don't get a chance to talk to you often, man, but it's been all good. Oh, yeah, I got to do one thing. Hold on for a minute. Y'all know I like to do the Democrat Clown Show. Let me see here. Where is it? I gotta put my glasses on just to be able to see it. The Democrat Clown Show. Where's the Democrat Clown Show? Hold on for a minute. I gotta go here and scroll through it. I know that's what y'all waiting on. Yep, hold on for a minute. Oh, there it is right there. Okay, that's one of them. Hold on for a minute. I got another one. That's one of them. Hold on for a minute. No, not that one. You know what? We're going to use this one, and I got another one. I got an update for those that haven't seen it. The Democrat Clown Show. Boy, let the circus, let the games begin, boy. I tell you. Hold on for a minute. Oops, I got the wrong photo. Those are videos. Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Oh, my goodness. Bring a Slick Nick in the house, though, boy. Slick Nick. Slick Nick. There we go, right here. The Democratic Clown Show, boy. Give me 1 minute. I got to use the restroom for one moment. Hold on for a minute. Okay. I am back. All right, there we go. Boy, so who do we have here? Boy, we got some interesting people that have showed up here today. Who is this? Oh, my goodness. Hold on for a minute. We got to do it right, though, ladies and gentlemen. We have to do it right, boy. Yep, boy, where's my... Oh, my goodness. Look at this, though, ladies and gentlemen. The Democratic Circus All-Star Clown Review. Boy, look at this here. We got Barack Obama over here on the left. We have Maxine Wicked West Waters. We have Bernie Sanders. They're oligarchy. That's all they know how to say. All right, Bernie, settle down, Bernie. We have Adam Shifty Shift. We got Chuck Schumer. Look at him striking the pose. Got those foldable balloons. Like he's making a dog or something out of it. We got Gavin Knucklehead Newscomb. We got Polka Dot Pocahontas Elizabeth Warren. That says she's Indian, if you believe that. Joe Biden. And we got Hillary Clinton. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. We got the Shady Bunch, boy. The Shady Bunch. Boy, look at this. We also have Skamala Harris. Hakeem High Tax Jeffries, better known as the Brooklyn Obama, right? Oh, my goodness. Timu Obama, too. And look at AOC. Doesn't she look cute in her clown outfit? We have Ilhan Omar. Oh, my goodness. Look at her. Let me squeeze her little nose here. There we go. And then we also have Rashida Tlaib. Oh, man, look at this. And Gretchen, we call her Ratchet Hitler around here. Boy, boy, boy. And who is that behind her, man? I'm trying to recall who that is, you know. But this is the Shady Bunch right now, boy. Look at him. Boy, look at Hakeem Jeffries. Oh, my goodness. It's the Democrat Clown Show. I cannot forget about the Democrat Clown Show. A lot of you love to come in just to watch the Democrat Clown Show. Look at this. Got the balloons up. Look at it. Elizabeth Warren holding a book. He got Maxine Wicked West Waters holding that tambourine. Oh my goodness, though, boy, I tell y'all, man, these are the main culprits, all millionaires, but they all want to tell working class poor and others that billionaires are the reason that they're in this situation and blame it on Trump while they steal money from the American people, man. Oh my gosh, make that make sense. Look at this. Look at this here. Boy, I tell you. Oh my goodness, y'all. Boy, I tell you, man. See a clown, be a clown. Yep, look at this. I tell you, man, it's the clowns, boy. Clowning around.
Thank you for the likes.
Yeah, look at this. Boy, I tell y'all, man, this is exactly what it is. Only on my stream where we go in on the DMs heavily. Heavenly, boy. Look at this. I tell you, man. Y'all see this? Look at this. This is something else here, man. Boy, I tell you, it's so funny. Yep. Texas Jane said facts 100. Yeah, Slick Nick says Democrat clown show. Yeah, we got Jason Beatrice in the house. We don't want illegals picking strawberries. I know that's right. Texas Jane, we sure don't. We don't want them doing that. Yep. We do not. Yep, Slick Nick, put him up here too. Texas Jane, there y'all go. Look at that. Boy, it feels good to be recognized, right? With your comments now, boy. I said I was going to fix it. Boy, we got Agnes in here. It's discrimination based on race, color, and sexual identity rather than meritocracy. All right? It's always wrong, right? Let me see here. Juju. Juju on that beat. Juju says, you and I are on completely different ends of the political spectrum. That's okay. But you are funny. I appreciate it, Juju. I tried, though, because you got to keep in mind, though, too. I came up in the black community. I came up in an all blue city, which is Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So I know how the stuff go, I love my comedy, I try to keep it really, really funny, though, too. Yep. Look, I try to keep it funny. Look at this, boy. Ruby says, wow, perfect class picture. I know, right? It's one of my pride and joys. I even put the names over there for people so they don't forget who's who. All but one, Then I got another one, too. Let me show you the other one. Which one do you guys like? Let me know, because I got a few of them, though. You know what I'm saying? Before I'm out of here, I just got a few of them. Hold on for a minute. Where's she at here? Okay, there she go. This is the one I started off originally. So a lot of y'all have seen it that have been repeated people viewing my channel. Yep. Look at AOC, man. She up here doing a handstand, legs up, boy. Look at Hakeem the Jester Jeffries, Chuck Schumer striking the pose, action pose. Boy, look at Hillary with her little hat. They got the Beetlejuice outfit. And then we got Adam Shifty Shift looking like a hobo clown, right? And then we got, who is this? Oh, that's Obama. Boy, save the drama for your mama. This is Obama. We got over here to the far left. That's it. Oh, we already know who that is. Gavin Knucklehead Newscomb looking like the Joker. We got Maxine Wicked West Waters, man. Woo, man, with that tamarine. Let's go over to the other side. We got Bernie. Boy, the oligarchy. It's okay, Bernie. It's all right. Who else did we have over here? Oh, we got Polka Dot, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, boy. They ain't got just a white woman pretending to be an Indian. Boy, I tell you. Look at this. This is one of my pride and joy pictures, too. I got a few of them, man. This is the Democrat Clown Show hour, Man. I love this one, too. Boy, look at between this and Hakeem Jeffries doing this splits. Boy, I tell you, man. Ooh, man, I can clown, can I? Ooh, I can clown. Let him cook. Boy, he can cook. And I can do cartoon. The next one y'all see, I'm going to do a cartoon meme of this where it's going to be animated. Wouldn't y'all like to see that? Oh, no. Oh, man, don't hurt him, Tony. Don't hurt him. Oh, my goodness. Don't hurt him, Tony. Oh, my goodness, man. Would y'all really like to see that? You know, you can put down yes down there or no. Oh, my goodness. Woo, boy, if I do that. Man, I tell you, man. Woo, that would be so funny. Boy. Oh, my goodness. That would be so funny, y'all. Oh, man.
Thank you for the likes.
Man, look at this, man. It's just a perfect class picture. Yeah, you're right about that. You forgot Trump. He was a Democrat. Trump learned the error of his ways being a Democrat, but now he's a Republican, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my goodness. Rockhound says, but that she does, but that she does. Funny. I like them either. Okay. I don't like them either. I know, right? That's okay, Rockhound. We don't care for them very much either. I just think they're funny, though. No hatred, just fun and games, fun stuff. Agnes says, you forgot Gates, right? I know. Anthony Fauci, I know, right? And there's others. But, you know, when I start crowding them up, the names won't get on there. You know, AI is going to only do so much. It's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? But maybe what I'm probably going to do, I'm going to do another one with another whole thing. You probably won't see these guys, but it'll be the other one. And I should do that, though. Get Bill Gates on there, Anthony Fauci and stuff like that. Comer, you know, Clapper and all those people up on there. That'd be interesting, you know. Put Bill Clinton in that dress with those heels on Epstein Island. What the hell? What is going on with that? What man would have a picture painting of a man in a dress and heels on, man? What the hell? Frank White says, so we see the problem, but what is the solution? Trump is the solution. That's the solution. Trump, that's the solution, man. Woo, man. Ruby says, ever think about selling pictures? You could make some money. Never thought about it, but I could. Jason Beatrice says, the solution is Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? Or Alcatraz, one of the two. Texas Jane is 100%, and laughing emoji. Slick Nick says, I need this picture for the back of my truck. Yeah, I can send you guys a copy if you want, though, too. You know, I think I got my email there on my main page. Just let me know. You know. Let me know. You know, but Ruby says they all got rich from scamming the American taxpayer. Exactly. That's why I got them up here. These are the main culprits. They're all millionaires. But they want to sit up here and tell us that billionaires are the problem, when in fact, they are the millionaires. None of them knows what they do, what jobs, what businesses, right? How did they get all this money? Can you imagine, too? The reason I don't show Jasmine Crockett, because she's irrelevant. She's not even in politics no more. Due to the redistricting over there in Texas, got rid of that. Got rid of that headache, too, man. But we got to get the rest of them out of here. Boy, this is a great picture, isn't it? Boy, I tell you, I should try to sell this photo, right? It's one of my best, you know. Ruby says, oh, man, let me see. Juliana says, let's see here. Trump converted to GOP because he wanted to convert to the racist party. Julian, no, that's not true. Yep, that is not true at all. In fact, that was my whole talking point conversation earlier. Right now, when you have to go back into my video where it breaks it all down. So watch in the beginning. Hopefully, I wish you would watch it. Ruby says, put them on the chain gang. I think I will do that. You got a good point, though, Ruby. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to put them on the chain gang, man. Man, back on the chain gang. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because they deserve to be on the chain gang. Yeah, we got to go ahead and get them on that chain gang. Jason Beatrice says, Democrat fraud squad. Yeah.
I mean, we see them for what they really are, though, man. These are fraudsters. These are criminals, right? They are the ones that have frauded and actually stole money from the American taxpayer. Absolutely correct. This is why we got to work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and so forth. They always want to keep raising taxes all the time. Democrats ain't never been budgeters of no economy at all. Every time they get the money, they spend it amongst themselves. Gavin Newsom, what about that damn transit train that you promised? How long has it been? Over 20 years? 25 years? We still ain't seen no train at all. No massive transit system. They done stole so many billions of dollars in California. It's unreal, man. It's unreal, man. I mean, Gavin Newsom is a California. He done ran so many profitable businesses out of California. This dude is ruining California. When I used to visit there, man, it was beautiful all back in 2000. It's totally different now, man. It's no wonder Disney still want to be there. And we know how low down they can be, but on those prices. Oh, man. Oh, man, I'm going to have to, hey, you guys going to have to hit me up on this, man. That way y'all can have this photo and stuff. We got to spread it around. Yeah. We got to spread it around. You know what I'm saying? That's more fitting. Yep. These are clowns, right? I'm going to put them in those chain gang outfits, and I'm going to get this animated too. I'm going to get this animated, though. Y'all may see an animation up here, man. It's going to bring the house down, man. Oh, my goodness. California. Well, welcome to the Hotel California. It used to be a lovely place. They used to have a lovely face. Oh, my goodness, man. Woke up this morning. Guess what I saw? Gavin Newsom stealing money out of the draws. Oh, man. Look to my right. I seen Obama smile. He made this gesture saying, come here, because you're about to get down. Oh, my goodness, boy. Oh, my gosh, boy. I want your boy on the roll, man. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the Hotel California. It used to be a lovely place. They used to have a lovely face, you know. Oh, man. I love the Eagles, man. That's a great song, man. I wish I could play it. I'm going to have to do my interpretation of it, man. That's what I need to do. Boy, I tell you, I need to do my interpretation of the Hotel California, man. Oh, man. But, yeah, look at this here, man. Boy, I tell you, though. What's he say, Agnes? Let me post this here. He says, Gavin Newsom is related. Oh, yeah, I know, right? Actually, Gavin Newsom is a nephew of Nancy Pelosi. Yep, that is absolutely correct. That's her nephew. For those that didn't know, yeah, Agnes is right. He's related to her, and he is the nephew of Nancy Pelosi. That is correct. Yep. Boy, this is so funny, boy. Just send me an email. We can make something happen, you know, for this photo. I got a few of them, man. Look at this. This is one of my favorites. Look at AOC, boy. Them legs up there. I didn't know she was that flexible, boy. Oh, my goodness. The Democrat, I like that, Jason. The Democrat fraud squad, you know, where they defraud all of the Americans. And we want that money back, too. Y'all gonna pay up, boy. Look at Maxine Wicked West Waters, man. She got the tambourine. I mean, actually, for a clown show, they got her and Hillary kind of looking like somewhat normal. Even Elizabeth Pocahontas, you know what I'm saying? For real. I mean, you know, they didn't go as bad on them as the other ones. I mean, look at Chuck Schumer, man. I think AI just said, you know what, I just felt sorry. Oh, my goodness. Boy, look at him. Oh, my gosh, man. Look at Obama. You can tell that's Obama, too. Even with the clown get up, that's Obama, man. It still look like Obama. Look at that. Look at Hillary. Boy, looking like Beetlejuice. Oh, my goodness, man. Beetlejuice. Oh, my goodness, though. I wonder if they actually saw this. What would they say? You know, you need a merchandising page. Actually, I got, you know what? You gave me an idea, Ruby. I'm going to put this on my merch store. That's what I do. I'm going to put this on my merch store, man. I'm going to make sure I get it done between today and tomorrow, man. Yep, that way you guys can, you know, Chuck's wife, amen, and drag too. Oh, my goodness, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness, man. I think you're right. I'm going to have to go ahead on and do that, man. Guys, I actually am going to do that, though, man. You know what I'm saying? And for those that are already members, though, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give it to you for free. For the those that are already members, man, I give it to you for free. There you go. I'm going to put it up there where, you know what I'm saying, make yourself some money. I know I may as well, though. I'm good at this stuff when it come down to this and trolling, you know. Oh, man. New scum. Maxi pad, right? Obama bribe Hillary. What's it? Hillary. Oh, man. Bribe him Hillary. Yeah. We got Killery. T-shirts. I know, right? T-shirts for the car windows. Yeah, that'd be nice, man. Walking around with this on, saying the Democratic fraud squad. I would definitely. I got to put that on there, man. I appreciate it, Jason Beatrice. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there, man. Down at the bottom, the Democrat fraud squad, man. Wearing T-shirts and stuff, walking around though. You know what I'm saying? That they wouldn't like it though, man. They'd be like, "What?" I'm gonna go, and I got some liberal areas. I'm gonna go into a liberal city like a college campus, and I'm gonna walk around with it, right? And I gotta put something on the back, some type of lettering on the back. Probably gonna say, look what the front of my T-shirt says. That's what I'm gonna put on the back. That way people will run around and go and look, and they will go look. I want them to go look. They're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh." Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no, you didn't. Oh no, you didn't comfort them. I like Hillary. Oh man, this is a travesty. How can you walk around with a T-shirt on? Deframed. These people, you should be talking about Trump. Well, I can see it now. Oh, hell no. You don't know me. Ruby says you can make bank. Yeah, I probably could, though, right? Mm-hmm. Book bags, right? All sort of products and stuff. Making that, yeah, because they would, man. You know what I'm saying? They would love this stuff, man. They would love this stuff, man. You right about that, man. Yeah, I'm going to put it on the store, though. My store is up on my videos. It's there. It's the merch store, and I'm going to actually add this on the merch store, man. This is my all-time favorite. Right here. And what I like them all, but I definitely like how AOC, how she doing a handstand and got those legs up like that. I can actually see that. I'd be surprised if she can even do something like that, to be honest. I'd be surprised, man. I really would. I'd be very surprised. But yeah, so look like that is about it for the Democratic Clown Show. Oh my goodness, man. That's my best masterpiece ever. This is my Pablo Picasso right here. Can y'all imagine having a painting on the wall, though, with this, man? Just think about it. The people that voted for Trump, a lot of people would buy them. Yeah, they sure would. The next time they have a rally, because it could go off with a rally, boy, I make some bank. You know, yeah, you right about that. I'm going to do this, man, because I'm going to make some bank off this thing. Set up a nice little stand or whatever, wear my MAGA cap, man. They're going to come in there for the rally and stuff. And before you know it, boy, 2028, yeah, man, this is going to sell, man. Woo, it's going to sell, man. I'm going to have a few of them, though, man. I said, I got to get this one right here. Yeah, you say surely would, Ruby. I said, I think so. I know it would sell. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been a long time in the making before we got into some Democrats ASS. And this is the best way to do it. All that ripping off you can read the T-shirt, the Democratic Fraud Squad. You know what I'm saying? Boy, yeah, Jason Beatrice, I appreciate that. That would be the heading right underneath, man. And then on the back it'll say, look at what's on the front of the t-shirt. Come and look at what's on the front of the t-shirt, and that would be on the back of the t-shirt. Boy, I tell you, man, this would be and this would show good in black and red and white and yellow. What other colors? Green. This would show real good, though, you know. Oh, my goodness, man. Oh, man. Y'all come just to come for at the end for the Democratic clown show. Yeah. But let me go ahead and shut this down, guys, though. And things, yeah, hats and T-shirts and book bags and pictures, yeah. Yeah, because we got to clown these people right out of office, man. And that's what we're going to do. Get they behind right up on out of here, man. Yep. But, yeah, man, I am going to do it. I'm going to put this up on my in my store, too, for my merch and things. Let me go ahead and get that thing out of the way with Mr. Ralph. Hold on for a minute. All right, got to do it right here. You know what I'm saying? It's my sponsor here. All right, so for your daily YouTube and Instagram X grow followers, get in contact with Mr. Ralph. There's his email down below. Mr. Ralph will help you grow your content, you know, for those content needs. So if you're a small, right, content creator, or you need help growing your content or growing followers, get in contact with Mr. Ralph. His email is very easy to remember. At least I think it is. But yeah, I got to put his telephone number there as well too. But this would be something that you want to invest in. Invest in on you, because you are your business, right? So look to Mr. Ralph for all of your Instagram, YouTube needs and to grow followers, because we know how it is to be a content creator. So look to Mr. Ralph for all of your content creating needs. There we go. Boy, I tell you, there you go. Mr. Ralph. And I appreciate you guys coming in here, man. Let me go ahead and move this too. I got to remove this. All right, so that's that for Mr. Ralph. Mr. Ralph, ladies and gentlemen. All right, and where my camera at? Okay, there I am. All right, there we go. Yep. Okay, and he had to have a telephone number in here eventually for myself. I could bring people up, but, you know, either or, it'll work. Let's say Ruby got the hearts, and then we got Agnes says, all belong to the 1%. They tell their idiot voters base they will make the wealthy pay their fair share. You right about that? Yeah, I'm going to go and post that. You so right. You are so right. I'm going to post that too, Agnes. I remember you coming back in the room. We got Slick Nick. Great content ever. I appreciate it, man. I really do. Man, I did this thing earlier, man, and I had it on private mode, man. God dang it. I was wondering where ain't nobody in here. You know what I'm saying? See you down in Arizona Bay, you know. Yeah, I used to live in Arizona, actually. I used to live in Phoenix, Mesa. I got a friend of mine in Tempe, you know, which I am considering getting back out that way, at least to visit, you know. Hopefully they can get that stuff together over there politically, you know. I don't want to be voting and get my vote being ripped off, you know. But other than that, though, man, it's been great, guys, man. I thank you all, man, for coming in the room today, backing up your brother, Tony Love, you know. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And make sure you...
Please like, comment, and subscribe, please.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Texas Jane, as well, Denise as well, Slick Nick, Black Guy 9. Boy, I tell you, man. Who else is it? We got Howard and things, Prescott area. Yo, you in the Prescott area? I know where Prescott is, you know, and you got Payson, you know, and yeah, Prescott, man. You got Flagstaff, man. You that north. I drove the 17 up that way, man, all the way up to, oh, yeah, yep, you're, okay, with the Valley of the Spun, okay. Yeah, stay away from the Valley of the Spun. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best to stay away from up in that area. Man, I drove through there, man. Man, I'm glad I got out of there before the winter started to hit. Man, driving on that mountain, man, at the boy up there in Flagstaff, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, elevation, my ears was popping, man. Oh, my goodness, man. I would have never been able to get up that traction had it would have been snow there. I would have been hit. I would have had to stay in Phoenix. I would have to take another route. I probably have to take the number 10, which I plan on doing. I have to go through, Louisiana and places like that. But I was getting up that way, though, Agnes, to get on the I-40, man. Caught a flat in Gallup, New Mexico. True story, 2:30 a.m. in the morning. I'm over here hearing coyotes and stuff, man. Transports going by. 2:30 a.m. I caught that flat. Dry rot on the tire, you know. Then I had to make it over there to in New Mexico and things. There was a Walmart off of I-40, so I had them change that tire. I slept out there at night till they open up in the morning. Boy, I tell you, man. Yep. I think another tire went out on me when I got to Oklahoma, man. Luckily, my friend was there, though. He was, it's a little small town over there in Oklahoma, about 100 miles away from Oklahoma City and stuff like that. But, yeah, man. True story. But other than that, let me go ahead and get on out of here, y'all. It's been fun in the sun, man. You can see the sun right now. Yeah, Prescott is opposite direction of Flagstaff. Yeah, you're right. It's been a while for me, man. Yeah, I heard of Prescott, man, but you can tell I'm not native in that area. But I lived there for about a few years. I'm talking about Phoenix. Yep. I could take the 17 south there to get to Prescott. Or is it, because I know Tucson is further down, though, so that's totally, yeah, Prescott, I would hit that definitely before I hit Flagstaff, I'm sure. Yep. But other than that, though, ladies and gentlemen, it's been good. It's been good, though, you know. Boy, it's been good, man. So I appreciate y'all for showing up and showing out, you know, over here. Why the party never switched. Boy, I appreciate y'all. Agnes, you too. I'll see y'all tomorrow on the next fun live view, I said live stream, which is Some Random Guy Speaks. I am your host, Tony Love. Let me go ahead on and put on the American Anthem on Route 69. I've never been on Route 69 or Route 66. I think I'm going to get on Route 66. I'm not going to get my kicks on Route 66, but I am going to get on Route 66. Let me see here. Where is my flag at? Because you know how patriotic we are in this room. We are very patriotic. Let me go ahead and get that flag up. Where's that flag at? There we go. The flag of the United States of America. Boy, I tell you. All right, and go ahead and get that national anthem going. All right. Okay, so let me take a look at the last comments, right? Slick Nick said, waves. I appreciate you for showing up, Slick Nick. Roger that, sir. I got to haul water in a while. I appreciate you. Make sure you come back, though, Agnes. I remember you from before, too. Slick Nick as well. Oh, yeah. Great content forever. I appreciate it, Slick Nick. I try, though. I really do. You know what I'm saying? You guys have all been great. Ruby, too. I'll see you next time, though. I'm gonna make sure I get them photos up on the Democratic Clown Show. Therefore, to be up there in the store and things. So I appreciate you all. It's time for the Star Spangled Banner. And let's hit it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes